Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. Real Madrid 2, Chelsea 0. What's going on around here? Real Madrid 2, Chelsea 0. We go into the game at the Bridge really behind. Some people may say it's a mountain to climb when you look at the output that we have in the team anyway. It's not a massive lead. It is doable, but just not. It doesn't feel like it when you look at how we set ourselves up, and obviously what we have firing in the forward lines. But we're going to talk about everything in and around Chelsea very, very shortly as well, guys. Please smash the likes. We've got player ratings. We've got panel to come on as well. Smash the likes, subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about Chelsea. Cue the intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for this match reaction to the Real Madrid game. Chelsea lose on the night 2-0. Ben Chilwell got a red card in the game that left us to 10 men in the second half. The setup was, you could say, was very predictable in many ways. He went with the 3 at the back. He didn't do the 4. He chose to play with, a counter in forward in Raheem Sterling as well to try and push us further up the pitch. There's lots to talk about. Here. And I think, obviously, we have to talk about individual player performances, yes, because still, they were out there and, you've got to question the sort of performance. But when you look at the tactical side of it, that is the other element that we're going to look at as well, the tactical side of it, as why it didn't really work too much. And we had good chances in the game. We started off quite well. João Felix as well had a great chance at the beginning. Sterling with the Courtois save as well. It's little bits and bobs in the game that kind of let us down, that made things a little bit hard, and we're going to talk about that later on in the show. Let's say hello to everyone in the chat. Big up to Atref as well. I don't know what he's talking about, to be honest. It's just waffling as usual. Must be one of the jokes of the year there. I don't know what he's on, that boy, sometimes. Really don't. Chelsea OG, big up to you. Big up to Leo. Big up to Mark as well. Time for all fans groups to protest against Todd. He's not happy with them. Sean's big up to you as well about relegation. We were going to pick up points, Sean. I mean, they're in low confidence. That is true. They are suffering with a lack of confidence as well, and that doesn't ultimately help. And you saw it in yesterday's performance, and from everyone on the pitch, they looked very unsure, very, I don't know. There's just no confidence in and around what we're trying to do. Big up to Steve in the house as well. Matty, nice to see you, bro. Hope you're well. Sean, Tom, Alfie, Steve, all you guys that are currently in here at the moment. Big up to every single one of you guys that are in here. Let's quickly mute this for a second because things keep popping up. Big up to you. We've got to go Etihad, Emirates and Old Trafford. Yep, we've still got them daunting places to go to. Are we going to find some sort of form later in the season? It doesn't feel like it. But let's talk about the game. Let's just get straight into it and obviously look at the stats first, because in terms of the overall game, we got beaten on possession, which don't surprise me, with a 56 to 43%. Total shots at goal, they had 18. We only had 7 in the game. They had 10 on target to our 3, 5 off target to our 2, and the rest is real history. I mean, passing, they had better passing percentage. The tackle percentage was better than them. With them, the aerials we were better in, and obviously we've got the 1 red card with Ben Chilwell. So Real Madrid very dominant in statistics on paper. Big up Braga as well. Nice to see you, bro. How are you? How do I feel about the game? Well, let's talk about it. Chelsea Blue says, Jem, I know fans get on with Kai, but he was to start yesterday. He's a big game player. Our attack was dead without him. Well, we took him out of it, and we're going to talk about it anyway. My last comment was day of the first league. I told you Chelsea were getting slapped. I am here. Spoil second league for you. What are you talking about, mate? Yeah, all right, cool. Anyway, going back to what I was trying to say. So, in terms of the game, itself, obviously we set up with a 3-5-2. We played with Felix and Sterling as the countering players, the same wing backs as we thought we would, the 3 in the middle, And then obviously the back three, which I thought, to be fair, on paper was, is good enough, right? Now, what is it that Ancelotti did that made it so hard for us? Well, it goes back to the more of the tactical element of this now. Now, when you look at the way Ancelotti set them up, we kind of knew that how they were going to play. But it was the system that was well drilled, well driven, well understood, and along with confidence that gave us a lot of problems on the ball. We had no outlay every time we tried to try and play balls over the top, because Felix, who should have been more of the deeper of the two, wasn't holding the ball up well enough. And when he did, he was surrounded by 3-4 players. Raheem Sterling was in the team to make runs in behind the Real Madrid defence, which he did earlier on in the game. If N'Golo Kante would have released the ball earlier, he would have been through. But then other than that, he was non-existent. We struggled with the wing backs because when we play the 3-4-3 or the 3-5-2, we rely on them to be further up the pitch. And every time we got the ball out to Ben Chilwell specifically, he seemed to be very isolated. And I look at the three in the middle, more so Kovacic because he's playing on the left, and he wasn't doing a good enough job on coming across and supporting and creating triangles for Ben Chilwell so he can get further up the pitch. Every time Ben Chilwell got the ball and he looked forward to try and play it, he had no one there. Felix was too narrow, and Sterling, they were too narrow. They weren't offering width. They were too close to the centre-backs, and we just couldn't get up the pitch. So what Real Madrid done was go, right, they can't get up. We're confident that we can press them and hound them and win the ball off them. And that's what they did. Every time we tried to break through, which we did a couple of times, but mainly a lot of the times we didn't, we got punished. And Vinicius Junior was absolutely running Fofana ragged down the wing, which didn't help. And obviously Reece James was further up the pitch, couldn't get back to help, and he did sometimes. And the whole balance of what we were trying to do just wasn't there. And then you're thinking to yourself, well, what do we do? Do we stick with the 3-5-2 and try and hold out this at the one and take it to the bridge? Or do we take off a midfielder and throw on another forward? Yeah, you just leave yourself open in the middle, but going forward, you might be able to create something a bit more. And I look at Real Madrid, I don't think defensively they're that good. I don't even think they were that great yesterday, in my opinion, when I watched them. I just felt that Ancelotti tactically got it right in terms of just they knew we had no output, but just putting the press on, man-to-man marking. Every time I got a goal, bang, bang, bang. No time on the ball, which we never got. We got no time on the ball in that. And we got suffocated. And the wing-backs got doubled up on. And there was no cut play. The midfield between Kovacic, Enzo, and Kante, they weren't really, I would say, 100% firing. I think Kovacic was, again, the worst out of the three. And that's the problem. I think once one of them isn't playing well enough, it kind of makes it 10 times harder. So then you're thinking to yourself, well, do you take one off and, play a forward? We're playing Enzo in a deep role, which is not his area. Do you know what I mean? But, even he got the ball spreaded around and done his, he showed his quality, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, his positional awareness, he got caught a couple times, right? Kante, people saying had a really good game. I don't think he had a great game, Kante. I think he just had an okay game. Yeah, he was getting in and around or whatever, but he just wasn't as effective where we need him to be. They struggled. And this is what I'm getting to. Like, the whole system just went unbalanced, and we looked unbalanced. And that's the issue. They all have to, for us to be able to have a very good performance or even at least try and get a win or score a goal, every player on the pitch has to pull apart, has to do their bit. And when they don't do their bit, and one or two or three players are just not at it, we get caught out, and that's the biggest issue. We get caught out badly, and we got caught out badly. The defense, Fofana got isolated a lot. Again, he got a yellow card in well too early. His body positioning was wrong. He got skinned by Vinicius. Don't get me wrong, Vinicius is absolutely on fire this season. Thiago Silva was just him himself. I don't even blame him for anything because he's just Thiago. So I know people say I blame him for the goal, but when you watch the ball come across, it kind of runs. Vinicius kind of runs in between Fofana and Silva, but he runs in behind Silva, and then Koulibaly then just walks while Benzema just runs on, and Kepa. I don't even know what to say about Kepa. Like, I know Matty's in the chat, but What are you talking about, mate? Jem says Enzo isn't his best when he's C6 back, but doesn't want to play him as an 8-1. I said it. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I've always said we need to play Enzo further. Of course he does. The issue is, bro, we don't have any defensive sitters. Like, sometimes brains need to be used here. Like, it's not hard. It's not hard. The reason we sacrifice Enzo's game is because we don't have anyone there. You can't put Kovacic there. You can't put Kante there. And with him, because he's more comfortable on the ball and he can use his long-range passing, his short-range passing, they bring him into the middle. Stop saying Zakaria. He's not played. Stop saying it. Just stop using it as an excuse. If we do this all the time, every time the player's on the pitch and it doesn't work, we look at the bench and go, why don't we play him? Why don't we play him? We do it all the time. It's just pathetic. It just winds me up. Let's just say it as it is. We haven't got what we need in that position. We just haven't. Let's just stop making excuses all the time. It just frustrates me. Jesus. And then on top of that, right? You look at Kepa for both of them goals, yeah, and he was shocking. It was shocking. I'm sorry. And I keep telling you, he's not good enough for us. You know, he's not. I don't think he's good enough. And the first goal, he gets a hand to it, but rather than just push it that way, he pushes it to the side of him where he's on the floor and opens up, and there's a massive open goal next to him and just lets Benzema run onto it and tap it in. Great. Good one there. Yeah. And then the second goal, I mean, how do you get beaten? How do you get beaten on that second goal in a position that you're in? It's not like you was at the one other side of the goal and it goes in that way and you've got to run across. He was in that position and it just went through him again. It went straight through him. Yeah, like, I'm sorry, we can't ignore the fact that, yeah, Mendy is not in great form, but Kepa is still, he's an issue. They're just not good enough. Just take it on the chin. They're not good enough for this, for these type of games. And I'll give you a great example. Look at Courtois against Raheem Sterling. Look at Courtois' save against Raheem Sterling. Yeah, and how important that was, because that was going right in the bottom corner of the net. Goal. Look at that. Look at the save there. You know, they're the little minor margins. And Real Madrid wasn't great yesterday. They tactically got it spot on. They made it very hard for us to get up. Yeah, they just got it right in how they pressed and how they moved. And we had no outlay. And it made it hard for us. But then when Kepa was called upon to make saves, and he made one against Benzema earlier, which was straight at him. Yeah. But them type of saves, I expect him to make. And, Matty, you can sit there and excuse him as much as you want. Yeah. You can excuse him as much as you want. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry, bro. He's just not that guy. He's just not that guy. He's just not that guy. He says we can use Mendy, but Mendy hasn't played in 10. But then, no, but this is my point. You can use Mendy, for example. But I am saying right now, we do need to sort that area out. Because if Mendy can't find that form that we found him in the Champions League period of last season again, then he's useless. But if he does find that form, Kepa's benched. If Mendy finds that form that we know he can find in the bigger game, then I'd have Mendy in goal all day. Yes. Because we've seen it more consistently. Like, Jim, is Carter still the problem? I saw everyone's special boy. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. And I'm not even going to come at Felix heavy today. I just ain't. I'm not. But I will say one thing. I will say one thing when it comes to Felix. You can't play him in that role. You just can't. I'm sorry. Not in that way. I don't think the 3-5-2 suits any of them really. And as much as you hate Kai Havertz, I think he actually maybe should have just started just because of maybe the hold up, the winning of the balls. And you saw it when he came on in the second half. He at least held the ball up a bit better and tried to involve people, but didn't. I know it's not like much better, but at least maybe that might have helped someone like Sterling, who then can run in behind. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. We're going to talk about everything in a minute. The first goal was on Cooley and Silva. Well, no, not because Silva. This is the thing. Vinicius Jr. Go and watch it back. Vinicius Jr. runs in between Fofana and Silva. Silva is facing this way, looking at what's here. Koulibaly's there. He's got Benzema in between him there. And then Vinicius runs behind Silva. But Fofana's meant to follow him. And Fofana just gets caught completely off the ball. Yeah, and that's where it rolls across the goal. And then fucking Benzema taps it in because we stopped running. Or Koulibaly stopped running. But then Kepa still push it that way. You saved it, but you saved it and dropped it in front of the goal. Push it away. Like, I don't know. I don't think Courtois would have done that. I don't think Alisson would have done that. I don't think Edison would have even done that. They would have at least made it, pushed it away from the goal. Yeah, well, obviously, chill. Yeah, I agree as well. Guys, smash the likes. 150 people here as well. Let's quickly talk about Ben Chilwell, because obviously he got the red card, and obviously he did go up on Twitter saying slept on it, and I just wanted to apologise to my teammates and the fans. I made a decision in a split second last night, and it was a mistake. I always give everything for the team, and I will continue to do so. I have no issues with Ben Chilwell. I'll be honest with you. I don't. Yeah, he made the wrong mistake. It was a split moment. It was either pull him down or hope Kepa saves it from making it, 2-0. And he made that decision. All right, he might have made the wrong decision. But there was more of a criminal in this moment than Chilwell. Because what the hell was Cucurella doing? Why are you so tight to a player that is quicker than you and then spins you? Just let him run off and take the ball deep and turn. And you just hold your position. Hold your position, Cucurella. What are you doing? Why would you go, leave the massive space behind you for him to run in, and then have to pull Chilwell, who's at left wing back, all the way across because you've made the wrong decision in your own positional awareness, Cucurella? Why? Why? Go and have a look at it. Go and have a look at it. He goes and follows the player from the free kick to the middle, leaves the space behind, gets spun, and then there's a massive gap behind him for Rodrigo to run into. It's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Man, I just don't get it. And to stick on Cucurella, there was a comment on Cucurella, and let's go and see what Goyam's saying first. He says, Timo and Kai will forever be a better CFC signing than Black Timo and Cucurella. Hashtag hold Lewis. Hashtag put your UCLs on the table. Big up Goam with the donation, bro. He's got to track his runners. No, he hasn't. What are you talking about? Do you mean he's got to track his runners? It was a free kick. Would you? No. You don't run out of a space to then get spun and leave the gap behind you. You don't. I'm sorry. You can't defend that. It's just shit. Just let him go there. Let him just go there. At least you can see him. You're in a good position at that point. And then you can press out. Don't follow him out and leave a gap behind you. This comment here from Expected Chelsea says, Cucurella might be one of the worst signings in Premier League history. World record fee, huge wages, not a better centre-back than Colwill, not a better left-back than Maatsen. If it sounds extreme, it's because the fan base doesn't want to accept the gravity of failure yet. Beyond the first match also, he generally hasn't looked like a Chelsea-level player. Emerson looks like a premium, top-of-the-shelf left-back. I'm not sure what we can get for him in the summer, but it's time to cut out losses. He can impede Colwill and Maatsen. I've seen Cucurella have some good games. Let's not act like he hasn't. He has had some good games. Problem is, he also has had a lot of bad games. And you could go and say that about most players. We could go and say that about most players because most players have been bad or have had the same issues, right? Oh, okay. Cool. I thought you were talking about Cucurella. Big up, man. Big up. So, let me get some water, man. I don't know. I have no comment to it, really. We've got player ratings to do in a minute anyway. We've got another little bit on Kepa from Expected Chelsea, who says basically that I've seen Kepa concede the exact same goal in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023 under 4 different managers, 5 counting Lampard twice. it is an institutional failure to still have him represent the club, especially after 1920. Nothing represents our fall from grace better. This is the issue, though, isn't it? Because, yes, he's had a very good start to the season and he made some very good saves and he was important, yes. But he still always has this bad, consistent trait in him. And it always seems to happen in the bigger games. When you need your goalie to step up, Peter Cech style at Chelsea, Thibaut Courtois style at Chelsea, even Kudicini. Kudicini used to do it for Chelsea back in the old days, right? Like, he just doesn't do it. Like, I have no faith. I even said before the game, if we're going to concede goals, it's going to, I bet you any money, it'll be something silly like Kepa flapping at a shot. And that's the truth. That was the truth. You miss Timo, innit? Timo, at least, you know what? We know Timo Werner was never technical and great going forward, yeah? But at least you knew what he offered. At least when he ran directly over through the middle, you knew that he'd use his speed. And that could be effective because it was effective in games and it worked. You know, and we used to moan about that. Now look what we got. Now look what we got. We can't even do that. At least he gave something. You know, like, why? Why would you compare Havertz to Kepa? That's such a weird combination. Man's comparing Havertz and fucking Kepa. What the hell? Oh my god, this fan base, man, proper weird. Some weird stuff. And to say it all, right, I'm just going to stick to this because, again, these were the 2 goals. There's just no excuse. All right, look, we could have done better in terms of getting out quickly and blocking the shot. Cucurella, again, just, I don't know what he's trying to do there. All right, he's trying to cover. You can't even say that he can't see that. You just can't. And it's not that he's had to run across the goal and save it. He's not had to scamper across to try and make the save. No, he's not had to do that. He's not had to do that. This is straight at him. This is straight at him. This is straight at him. Like, I don't get. It's like people are more patient for new signings. You don't use your brain, buddy. Oh, don't tell me about brains. You ain't got any, mate. I've listened to your absolute nonsense comments. Do not come to me about brains, mate. Yeah, Jesus. You don't use your compare how expected Chelsea never talk about Havertz doing since. Oh, Havertz. He's not even on the pitch. I'm not even talking about Havertz because he didn't even play yesterday. He came on when we went down to 10 men. Why can't you stay focused on what we're talking about? Topic. Why do people always go into defense mechanisms and try and bring other players in to make themselves feel better about themselves? How about that one? Instead of just defending it, just say, do you know what? He fucked up. Does it matter? Like, he fucked up. And that was straight at him. It's just so boring. It's just boring every week. You know, everyone just wants to defend their players all the time. Just be honest about it. Yeah, fucked it. Should have saved it. It's not hard. It's not hard. I don't get it. It's just poor. You know? It's straight at him. And these are the minor differences. These are the minor differences in game. We just got to stop defending fucking things that we watch. It frustrates me. So yeah, but then you don't, because then when I say Kepa, you throw Havertz at me. He didn't even play yesterday. Why are you talking about Havertz? What's it got to do with Havertz? We're talking about Kepa. Forward. How you doing? And explain this, please, because I don't know, mate. Look at his position.
Yeah, but first and foremost, bro, thanks for having me on. Big up all the Chelsea fans in the community. I'll be real, bro. You know me, like I don't normally get too mad or whatever in it, and I'm still gonna try and be balanced and like objective with like everything that I say today, but it's hard, bro, because
Big up you in.
well, like it's kind of like a culmination of everything that's happened this season that we saw yesterday, and it's just disappointing to pretty much lose the tie in a manner that we didn't see the same players drop the same performances, and yeah, very very frustrating, bro. But we're here, man. At least now we kind of have some finality to the season that we know is pretty much done now, so we can just look forward to next season because it can't be any worse than this.
We're going to do player ratings, and that's what we go on to next anyway. We spoke a lot, and obviously I've got to start with the goalie. I've said what I've had to say in regards to Kepa. I feel he could have done better on both. Some people saying the second, not the first. I disagree. I'll be honest with you. I just think, like, I'll be honest with you. I said this. I don't think Real Madrid were absolutely great yesterday. You know, what I think they've done very well was the tactical element of it. And I think when I mean tactical, I think Ancelotti set them up right, because what they did is they pressed, they man marked, they knew we didn't have no outlay, and they suffocated us. Yeah, we didn't have a response to that, and it made it very hard for us to get our quality players in the game. Yeah, and that's what happened, you know. And when we need Kepa to step up in moments and make saves, all right, Chilwell got sent off, and that's another story to talk about later. But you know, he needs these. You saw Courtois against Sterling, right? You saw that save that Courtois made against Sterling, all right?
Yeah, top
You know, like,
save.
they're the moments, though, bro. Do you get what I mean? They're the reason you have these type of goalies. So, I mean, what do you want to say?
I mean, for a start, I want to address all the Chelsea fans that have been defending Kepa for years, and I'm gonna just say it bluntly: you're all a disgrace. You're all a fucking disgrace. Like defending this guy who's done nothing to earn any credit at this club. It's honestly disgusting. Don't know what kind of privilege it is, but yeah, this guy needs to be gone from the club. And I've been saying it. I've stayed consistent. He's a bum. Shocking. Again, it's not going to discriminate against short goalkeepers. He's actually 6'2", which is not as short as he looks on the pitch because he has no presence. But when you're that short and you also have small like length in terms of your arms, like you need to have some sort of athletic ability. You need to be like great at springing off the line and whatnot. And again, we've seen it with the 2 goals. Like he could save both goals. Again, if that's Courtois and goal, he saves both of those. We know Mendy has confidence issues, but if that's Mendy on a good day or normal day, especially when we won the Champions League, that Mendy saves both of those goals. So as much as we weren't great and Madrid deserved to win and should have won by more than 2, a top goalkeeper saves us and bails us out. So I have to give him a 0. And again, I'm hoping that's one of the last times I ever see him play for Chelsea Football Club because he's not been good enough. One of the worst signings in our history, and yeah, good riddance in the summer because he's an absolute bum.
I mean, Ford don't like him. We can clearly see that one. I mean, Couch, what was your thoughts on the display of Kepa yesterday? Do you think he was fault for both goals? Do you think we're being too harsh on him? Like, what are your thoughts?
Generally, I think we're being too harsh, but that's just the nature of the game that we're seeing and whatnot. I felt like the first goal, yeah, he could have did better there. Like he deflected it right into the path of Benzema. I don't know how we're blaming Koulibaly for that. Like that's a bang bang play. Like it deflects right to Benzema and he bangs it in. But in terms of Kepa, yeah, even the second goal, I thought he was he kind of lost sight of it because it went through Fofana's legs. As a defender, you expect him to get something on there, like at least deflected something. It just goes right through his legs from distance. Thought he had a poor game myself, I'm going to say about Fofana. But yeah, like the goals that he let in, obviously a better keeper saves them, but it's not the reason why we lost the game. I can't put the whole game on Kepa. It's just we weren't good enough in so many different areas.
Obviously, we know that, but you got to talk about the 2 goals and how it happened. You know,
the first goal, like I said, the first goal he could have did better on. He deflected it right into the pass of Benzema. We score. The second goal, it goes through Fofana's legs when you think that when you think that he's probably going to get something on it and deflect it or defend it. Goes through his legs and it goes in the net in the bottom.
It's not like he didn't have a vision of it, Couch, though, because look,
but he was missing.
He's not even got to run across the goal. He's in the position of where the ball's going.
Right, and then that's a freeze frame, right? And then as that ball's starting to progress a little bit more, it goes right through Fofana's legs, and then it gets buried into the corner. To be honest with you, you're right though, because where he's positioned right now, he should be getting to that regardless.
Exactly.
Just out of reflexes. But I mean, I ain't really gonna say that the reason why we lost today was Kepa. Like, there's so many different reasons.
Nobody's saying that, but at the same time, he was poor, and a top goalkeeper more than likely bails us out. And it wasn't just those 2 mistakes. There was even a worse mistake at the end of the game where Benzema should score. And that comes from him carrying across that.
Yeah, that's true.
So again, this is something that just isn't good enough for the club. And again, maybe it wasn't his worst ever performance, but when has he ever bailed us out in a big game like this? I'm sorry, it was Aston Villa early in the season. Cool, he was great, but like he doesn't perform at a top level that is required at Chelsea Football Club. He just doesn't.
I agree with that.
I hear you. Winter Surfer, how you doing, bro? We didn't play the 4. We played the 3. I mean,
yes, it's quite surprising and refreshing. So
only surprising for you, man. Frank ain't no dummy, man. He wasn't going to no Bernabeu playing basketball. Only surprising to you.
I think when you play Kante at right wing during that 3, you are a dummy. So yeah,
we didn't play Kante at right wing.
Kante didn't play right wing, bro.
No, none of them did in midfield.
In the first half, he was right wing.
He was not right wing. Played 3-5-2.
No, he just appeared on the right wing. Yeah, he wasn't right wing. He just appeared on the.
Go on, Kepa.
As players do all the time. What do you mean? Like, yeah, he appears there. He doesn't play there.
Yeah, but he was forced to go there because no one else was playing well. So Kepa, what is there left to say on Kepa? Really, there's nothing. He's absolute. It's your channel, Jim. So I'll refrain from what we really want to. Doggy doo doo. Do you know what I mean? He really is just that. The first goal, I'm not gonna blame him for the first goal. It's the second goal. I've seen harder pass backs. You know what I mean? It's one of those. The guy side-footed it from outside the box and wasn't even a powerful shot. And really, shot stopping for any goalkeeper should be normal, right? But there's no power in those wrists whatsoever. They're biscuit wrists.
Kit Kat fingers.
And he's just a terrible goalkeeper. And that's why it was like people are going on about in the summer, striker and defensive midfielder. Yeah, that's all good, but you've got to get me a top goalkeeper first. Before anything, you've got to get me a top goalkeeper first. Because that is, if you get a goalkeeper like with Czech, like with Courtois, they can be there for a while. Well, not Courtois, but like Czech, they can be there for 10 years. If they're good, you know what I mean? You need a top goalkeeper. The issue is, though, he's got 2 years left on his contract. So I don't think we're going to get much for him. We'd have to probably loan him out for the next 2 years. So. But yeah, on the game yesterday, he wasn't great. But I'm not going to really blame him much for the first goal, if any. So.
All right. Well, we'll go to Matty, the Kepa protector, and see what he's got to say.
Calling me a more today, please.
Yeah, I was about to say that. That's not Kepa Tete. He's me a more Arkhrbalaga. Okay, number 1. Number 2, I said Jim, and Don was on the tell. I called it. I said it's fucking horrendous. Like the second goal, he should be saving. And I've said coming this summer that we have to definitely either sell. I mean, for me, I would sell Mendy. I think you call for Mendy when Mendy's playing bad. Everyone calls for Kepa when Kepa's playing bad. You call for Mendy. I think one of them needs to go. And my opinion is that Mendy needs to go. I think it's done. Yesterday's game, I think that first goal, there's nothing you can do. You say Courtois is a world class keeper, and I've never ever called Courtois. I've never ever called Kepa a world class keeper. I said I think he's just a good keeper for this club. But coming into the future, I said you got to get a better keeper, 100%. And I think from there, then you can compete. Some people don't like to see Kepa as a second keeper.
No, you said he's good enough
on big wages. Then I agree, but I still think he can break into this team. I think even he said himself this morning. He said he's been through 5 managers. Half his players have been through 5 managers. No one's had a consistent amount of running. Look at Reece James, who was shocking yesterday.
This is embarrassing.
Embarrassing. I mean, and you got frauds like Ford, who come
Wait,
out.
Matt, what do you mean by breaking into this team? He's been given numerous opportunities under numerous managers. What do you mean break into this team, bro?
He hang on, Ford. In Sarri's season, he played well, right? It was Fat Frank's season, the first one. He was shocking, right? And that was because Frank Lampard disowned him. And then he comes back. The Frank Lampard team, where the same guy disowned him, was toxic to him, put him out of the squad.
Let's stop this.
It's the same manager.
Not good enough. He's just not good enough. He's not good enough.
You can say he's not good enough. Good on you. You guys said that last season. You came back out of the trenches with
but he's shown it. He's shown us. Look, we've got enough. I'm not going to interrupt you. I'll let you finish. Then I'll go. I'm pissed. Carry on.
You're next, Don. You're next.
That's right, Don. That's right. Just give it a minute, Don. You're next anyway. But anyway, you can sell both of them next season then, and then we have to go get 2 keepers. But I want to have a second keeper to compete with. You can't go get 2 world-class keepers. It's going to take time. You get one, and then if one projects, one projects. So for me, as I said, I look at yesterday's game. Who wasn't today, but yeah.
Yeah, mate, I'm pissed as well. I think we should all be pissed, to be honest, but it is what it is. Don, what are you saying, bro?
I love that, man.
Man, boys. Nah, Kepa needs to go, man. He needs to go. I'm not going to call anyone out. I can't remember exactly who said it, but when we had a conversation about Kepa before, during his purple patch, and someone described him to be a good shot stopper, the first thing I said is Kepa's not a good shot stopper. That guy is a cat in the box. He's good at getting balls quickly when it comes to reacting and getting, good world-class saves here and there. But overall, what the fundamentals what you need from a goalkeeper, be commanding, command your area, just be a tool keeper. He's not that. That's what I keep saying to you guys. We can't go and get this Raya guy because Raya is 6 foot, the exact same height as Kepa. Kepa gets beaten from outside the box. Every season you're going to see it at least once a month where he's getting beaten from outside the box. I said it to my boy yesterday. Any shot you take outside the box against Kepa is the equivalent of a penalty because he's not going to get to it. He's just not going to do it. He's not good enough. The guy is
he's actually pretty good from penalties, man.
He's good from penalties, yeah, but it's equivalent of a penalty. Like, I'm sure every manager just says, look, take a pop at this guy because his shot stopping is horrendous. I've never seen someone make it to this level as a goalkeeper playing for Chelsea and not have a solid hand. When it comes to corners, he punches it to no one. He can't grab the ball. He's
small. That's why he can't grab the ball. He's too small.
This guy, like, literally, I don't even want him as a backup because, like I said yesterday, right? This guy will find a way to worm his way into this team again because he's purple patch central. You cannot have players like this in your squad. I said to Man United fans, I'm kind of topic here, but I said to Man United fans about Dalot, the same thing. They were getting gassed about him in the start of the season. I said, this guy is a purple patch player. The real Dalot will come out again. The real Kepa's back again. This is Kepa. We're not going to see any better. He's not going to improve. We've been fleeced. We got fleeced for this guy. Nah, man, it's time to cut ties. Like, I'm talking about the money we paid for. Right? I know Courtois a snake, but that's the type of keeper you want in the back of the net. You want someone like a Kepa. You want a Ter Stegen. You want a tool keeper like that. Commanding keeper like that.
Monster? What's he waffling about? What is Monster waffling?
It's fun, man.
That's crazy.
What is he on about?
You need to get rid of this guy.
He was chatting shit about Mendy this time, man. So I mean, it's
Kepa. It's time to cut ties and get rid of. I would get rid of both of them, Mendy and Kepa, and just start afresh. But we cannot get Raya. We'll have the same problems with Raya. I saw a stat, right? Raya and Kepa have let in the most goals from outside the box, and it's not a coincidence because they're both small as keepers. They're 6 foot, right? I was looking at Kepa the other day, Jem, when we was at the bridge, in the lineup. And there's players in defense who are taller than this guy. I'd rather put Koulibaly in goal than have Kepa in goal because the guy can't reach anything. He cannot reach nothing when it comes to these long shots. Yeah. Nah, man, it's peak. It's peak. All right, get rid of this guy, man. Get rid of this guy.
We got a lot to get through, so let's try and fly through this quickly. I mean, Kazim, I'll let you finish off on this, mate. How you doing, brother? How are you?
Thanks for having me. Are you all right?
Not bad, brother. I mean, we as if one thing that me and you agree on is this, isn't it? But yeah, go on. What you got to say?
Bro. Where do I start, man? Where do I start with Kepa, bro? I said it to you, bro. I don't think he's good enough to play for League One, and I still stick with it. And listen, everything I predicted was right. Everything. But what do I know? Let's start with Kepa. I don't think it's good enough. It's just not good enough, bro. And every time Chelsea play, I predict we're gonna concede because it's just the goalkeeper is not good enough at all. Can't believe he played for Chelsea Football Club. But let me highlight. I'm gonna make a statement now, and I think it's very, very important. As much as Courtois is snake, I think he's one of the best goalkeeper I ever seen, and I'm making that claim. Courtois, he can win you a tournament. This guy is very good. I'm just gonna leave it there. Yeah. This guy is super good, and it's such a shame we lost him. Such a shame. I know the story he wanted to go. This guy, when he's in the goalie, bro, you're safe. You are in the safe hand.
Well, you got to look at that Sterling save, haven't you? I mean, that Sterling save in the first half where he got down low so quickly, and he's so tall as well. You know, you got to look how quickly he got down and pushed it out for a corner.
And do you know what, Jim? I think the one the Champions League last year, as far as Junior was good, and Benzema, I think Courtois was a huge. He played big factor for them to win the Champions League last year. I think he's a top goalkeeper. But yeah, Kepa, bro. You know my opinion about him. I don't think he's good enough. He shouldn't. I don't think it's good enough to be even be second goalkeeper, man. Time to go.
Time to go is what Kazim says. Guy says Kepa is like Czech, but only the head injury apart, is what he said. Yeah. Big up, Guy. All right, listen, because there's quite a lot of us here. If I go through every single one of you asking you about each player, it's going to take ages. So what I might do is I might just have to designate players to certain people. Obviously, we'll go back to forward. I'm going to give you Koulibaly.
I can't lie. I want to be designated for somebody else because somebody else needs to hold him up. I can't lie. But I mean, listen, what can be said on Koulibaly? Like, I thought he was okay. Like, I don't think he was like terrible. He did make one big mistake that allowed I believe it was Rodrigo to get through, but he did recover. And obviously in that instance he got injured. But yeah, I thought he was just okay, to be honest. Probably give him like maybe a 4, possibly a 5, maybe even being generous.
Yeah.
Not many high ratings today.
What I will say then is, does anyone else want to add to this before we move on, rather than ask everyone about Koulibaly? Has anyone got anything to say about his performance?
Nah,
Obviously,
it's just a shame. It's a shame he got injured. It's a shame he got injured. That's about it, really.
I mean, people blaming him for the goalies, man. I found that very strange.
I thought that's strange too. I found that so strange.
I found that very strange, bro. I don't know which football
honestly, Kazim, I heard that and I was like, how? Like,
what? I mean, the ball play.
The goal came down. First of all, Benzema was coming from the left, our right, and he's cutting in front of Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva is supposed to be marking him there, and then on top of that. That play, bro, I'm just looking at it right now. Thiago Silva is supposed to be, that's his man. He's coming into Thiago Silva.
Koulibaly's looking across him. He can see it, can't he? He's not
Koulibaly is dealing with the back post, is what's supposed to be happening there. The ball deflects right back to Benzema, and you're expecting that Koulibaly's supposed to stop that?
Well, no, but what I think is that when you look at the reaction of Benzema, I mean, that just goes to show you the world class. And
bro, watch the play again. Watch the play again. I'm telling you right now, that's Thiago Silva's man. He's peeling off, goes right into the area. You look at Koulibaly's body shape there. He's not even in a position to deal with Benzema there. That's all.
My problem ain't Koulibaly. My problem for that goal is Kepa. I'm just telling you that now.
I think that's an even bigger problem, but we'll get onto it. But just in regards to Koulibaly, because we're talking about him, like I don't think it was really him or Thiago Silva's like they're completely out. I mean, guys, we all watch a lot of football and like you see a lot of goals when it's rebounds off the post or the keeper and like. The strikers are always first to react, and that happens a lot now. If Thiago Silva or Koulibaly react and clear it, then that's great on them. But usually in that situation, it's always the striker's instinct that they're the ones following in.
Yeah, I agree.
So again, Thiago Silva could have read it, but it's one of those ones where I look at it more on the cause of that situation, and obviously Kepa not being able to start it. And obviously we will get onto Fofana later. So yeah,
that's where we will move on to next. I mean, we could talk about Thiago Silva very quickly. First game back.
No, I don't want to get Thiago Silva. Give me Fofana, man. There's not much I can say about Thiago Silva other than that.
Right, give Kasim Thiago Silva. Kasim, you talk Thiago Silva.
Yeah, you talk about Thiago Silva.
Oh, yeah,
no.
Listen. I don't think. Listen, let me highlight something very, very important. All right.
Guys, you talk about Thiago Silva. Go on.
Yeah, Thiago Silva, bro. I don't think. Listen, people blaming Koulibaly or to some extent Thiago Silva for the goal. I don't think it's not the case. I think the ball played very, very quickly. I think they moved very quickly, Madrid, and bang, is a goal. It's very hard to blame anyone, Koulibaly or Silva, to be fair. I don't think it just happened very quickly.
All right.
Yeah, well, so it's no comment about this too.
All right, well then in that case we'll keep it sweet. But then I'll go back to Couch then, and we will talk about Wesley Fofana, who was very isolated in that game against Vinicius.
That's a different case. This one.
Wow.
What's your thoughts?
I got a lot to say about this guy because I really enjoy him. I think he's a great footballer. I really like him as a footballer. I just feel like this game in particular, he just did not meet the temperature of the game. You know, he was a guy that we expected. If you watch the game, for the most part, we played 1v1. Our center backs all matched up with their attackers, and we tried to use our wing backs to pin back their fullbacks or whatever. So they weren't really doubling up a lot. So he was tasked with dealing with Vinicius Jr. 1v1 and got roasted time and time again. That first yellow that he picked up, I don't even know why he took that foul. It made no sense to me whatsoever. Then ever since then, he was just on skates the whole game. You know, like was not in the game. Head was not in the game. just did not meet the temperature. Like it's a big game. You're at the Bernabeu. He's probably never played in a fixture this large before, Champions League knockouts, and it showed. He just looked extremely inexperienced and a guy that was not composed and collected as we normally see him in the Premier League. He had a few darting runs where I thought that if he would have just released it into space, we would have got in again. But he continued on his run, then turns it over, and then they're back counterattacking us again, and we're being exposed. And he's going to learn from this. I think that he's a smart enough guy that he's going to learn from this game and use it as motivation to take him forward. But overall, that was just a very, very poor performance. Not that it was an easy assignment going 1v1 against Vinicius, but at the same time, I expect a lot better from him, just to marshal him.
Yeah.
Can I just add something quickly, please?
Yeah,
I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
Listen, bro, when you watch the game about Fofana, right? I think I really rate Fofana. I think he's a very good player, but he had the worst game. But let me explain what exactly happened. That's definitely on the manager, Frank Lampard. Listen, Vinicius Junior is one of the best winger in the world. I highlighted that. And we saw that last year, what he's done to us when he come to the bridge or in Santiago Bernabeu, right? You have to have two in them, my guy. Reece James left Fofana by himself, and he get roasted there. That's what it is. It's on the manager, bro. When you have a key player, right, like Juniors, you got to have two in them, close him down. Don't give him space or time. And for Frank Lampard, it wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Can I come in on that? And I actually do agree a little bit that we could have done a better job in doubling up on him for sure. And I think it was a tactical ploy to leave Reece James a bit higher up so that he could receive the ball higher up in transition when we did win the ball back.
Right.
But, at the same time, last season when we played them, at the first leg it was Christensen that was upright centre back, and the tactic was the same.
He got roasted.
Left on him to play on Vinny, and yet he got destroyed.
Yeah.
The second leg, the tactic was still the same, but it was Reece James at right centre back, and he done a great job against Vinicius Junior. And it was Ruben Loftus-Cheek who was the wing back.
Right.
It wasn't like he was helping a lot to double up. It was pretty much the same tactic how we dealt with Vinny. And Reece James done a stellar job. So again, this just goes to show the level. And for me, again, I'll come back to Wes and I'll keep the same energy that I've had with him all season. That I think he's a good centre back. I wasn't a big fan of the signing because he hasn't proved himself much in terms of his fitness. Can he stay fit for a whole season? Again, we saw even the Wolves game where he got injured like 5 or 6 times in the game. It's like, that's not what you want to see from your centre back. They need to be reliable. And yeah, I do believe he's talented. I do believe he's got all the right attributes to be a top centre back. But this game really showed that there's levels, and he's absolutely struggled at this level. And listen, bro, this is Chelsea Football Club. This isn't Leicester. This isn't Brighton. Like, this is at the top level. You play under the brightest lights, and you have to be better than this. And
I get he was
1 out of 10. He was shocking. That was one of the worst performances we've ever seen.
Yeah, forward. I get what you're saying, and I agree. Like, yeah, he was poor yesterday. He was terrible. In fact, abysmal yesterday, right? But what I think killed him, honestly, was that yellow card, that early yellow card, man. It took him off his game because we all know Fofana, he's aggressive. He'll get in your face. He wants to get to the challenge. He's good at reading the attacker as well. But when you're playing against a player like Vinicius, who's stop-start, he'll stop with the ball and he'll drive with it. His acceleration's on point. He's the best left winger in the world right now. So when you're on a yellow, it takes away from a lot of the strengths that we've all been picking out that Fofana has in his game.
I hear that. But I hear that. Wait. Let me just respond to that.
I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm just saying that if you when you play the game and you're on a yellow card, especially early, and you're playing against a player like that, it's peak. So I honestly, I thought he would have come off at half time and change it up a bit and maybe put Reece there and bring on maybe a Ruben to go right wing back. Because he was getting cooked. I was surprised when I saw him in the second half.
Yeah. No, that's what I wanted to see as well. Like, I wanted to see it change because I just saw the way that the game was playing out, and it just did not look good for Fofana. But at the same time, like, we've also seen. But just to point this out is that, like, I've seen it in the past where guys get yellow cards early in the game, and it's on to them to just perform and just to hold it down even on a yellow. And like, I seen it even years ago when I think it was a cup game with United, so us against United. Ashley Young got a yellow card in like the first 5 minutes, and he's marking prime Eden Hazard. And for the rest of the game, he actually done very well. I think they got a draw maybe, or maybe they even won at Stamford Bridge in the cup. And that's Ashley Young out of position at right back. So again, it's just to say that Fofana is it's an uncomfortable position to be in. But
we saw it last year. Forward,
you have to live up to the standard that we're on.
We saw it last. We saw it last year in the second leg. Reece got a yellow card early in the first half, and he was then sensational. So, and that was against Vinny as well.
That's true.
So
Actually, I remember.
I can't really give that excuse. I can't really give that excuse. It's his rash game for fun. We've seen it already a few times this season. His rashness. He either gets a foul or he misses it completely, and he's got to learn from that. But I do agree with Kasim. I don't think he was helped out by the tactics because Reece was allowed to go on a bit more and left there. But
He was left.
later,
Yeah, I think he was left very.
I honestly
isolated.
think that he was frightened by his pace.
Yeah, I think part of the issue of all of the game yesterday was that we set up with a 3-5-2, which most of us said would probably be the best way forward, right? And Lampard did that. But the overall issue was that, and I keep saying this, I think Ancelotti tactically got it right in terms of the press, in terms of the man marking, in terms of us not having the outlay, being able to move forward with the ball. And every time we did win the ball back and we tried to get forward, our front two, we're going to talk about later, were too narrow. The wing backs who we rely on to get further up the pitch were very isolated, especially Chilwell for me specifically. And the whole balance just flopped. But then it was like, well, what do you do? Because you take out one of the midfielders and you play a 3-4-3, you leave your midfield open, but then maybe we would have seen better counter attacks moving forward. The issue we got then is who's actually putting it in the blooming back of the net. You know, we didn't really get Sterling involved enough as well. And I think we just kind of got to a point where it was like, do you know what? We're going to stay like this. We're just going to suffer and just try and hope we can just get back on with a 1-0 loss.
I hated that tactic. I thought that the reason why the game played the way it was is mainly for that reason. We're playing a 5-3-2, and we didn't look to win the ball anywhere. Like we're just basically occupying spaces on the pitch, and like it didn't like we had Kante out there. But did Kante look to play to enforce anybody out there? Did he look to win any balls anywhere? It didn't look like we were aggressive enough defensively to try and win the ball back. It was just awful. We were just inviting them onto us and expecting us to do something when expecting them to give us the turnovers to do something with the ball.
Well, we're going to go to Winter Surfer and Ben Chilwell. Obviously, he got the red card. He came out and apologised on Twitter as well. I mean, do you agree? He was quite isolated in the game. He didn't. Every time he got the ball, it just seemed like he had no one around him a lot of the times. He couldn't get out the pitch. Like,
I thought it was the same for both wing backs, attacking job, but who was there to really get the ball to? Do you know what I mean? And there's no point crossing. There's no point crossing in because basically you got two midgets up there already. I thought his passing when he was defending was truly shocking. Him and Koulibaly just didn't want that ball, and they seemed to just give it to one of each other, and then one of them overturns it. I thought he was stupid for that red card. Just let him go through. If he scores, he scores. Just let him go through. Stupid. And you can say, oh, he's put in that position, that's fine. But he's experienced enough now not to do something like that. Do you know what I mean? You can't give him leeway and go, oh, he was put in that position by Cucurella or whoever you want to do. It's all good. But he had the decision to make. Could have just left him and let it go and see what Kepa could do. Maybe Rodrigo misses. You don't know, right? But
see what who could do?
We just don't know.
That couch laugh says it all, didn't it?
Can I just add something, Jim, to what Andrew said, right? Listen, if you watch the two goals, the two balls played over the top. Yes. That's what happened. Just watch that. It's tactically. Listen, bro. I don't think Ben Chilwell done anything wrong. I would do the same. He tried. He was the last man. It's definitely a red card. Definitely, because it was the last man. But you need to look at the two goals. It was copied. The ball played over the top. We played the high line. We're all over the shop. Bang, goal. So you got to question the manager. We know the players is not good enough.
Chrissy, my question to the manager, I don't think I don't give Ben Chilwell any leeway. He did not have to do that. He chose to do that. He did not have to do that whatsoever. And he left his team in a more vulnerable position than it already was.
I agree with that bit. Yeah.
He's experienced enough now. We're not talking about. Well, he's 26 now, right? He's played in Europe for a number of years now. He's played at the Bernabeu. That's what I mean. Just let it. It's gone. Just let it go. Whether they score a second or not, we don't or not. But it's lucky that they didn't. They actually weren't even playing that well yesterday.
I agree. That's what I said.
If that was City, we would have got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
Even more so when we went down to 10 men. They would have absolutely pummeled us.
Yeah. if you're going to get a red card, then at least do it the proper way, and just like 2 foot swipe leg, like take out rather than pull the arm. Do you know what I mean? Like make it look pretty. That's what I'll do. But let's go on to the other.
Real Madrid took it easy on us, man. They saw us wounded. They said, "Oh, let's allow these guys."
They weren't even.
I don't think they're that good, to be honest. I think
Let's just allow them, man. Let's just allow them.
they were nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near.
Yo, Jam, let me just say something on Chilwell. I don't think Cucurella and Chilwell, they just don't work good next to each other in general. And that red card came from Cucurella pushing up into the space when he didn't need to.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's the problem. The chemistry is off. You need to bring on a center back.
100%.
So I did Chile. But anyway, we move.
Well, Chalobah's he brought on Chalobah. I don't understand why you bring on Chalobah.
Exactly.
Do you know what it is, Jeff? Do you know what it is with Cucurella? Yeah, like it's such a good point that Couch made the other week about the as a footballer, when you're playing as a wing back, the instincts that you have as a wing back in comparison to what a centre back would have when it comes to situations like that. Cucurella just jumps up like he's playing at wing back, but forgetting he's playing at centre back, and leaves that massive hole in the back. And the thing is, you know what's mad? Jamie Carragher said the exact same thing. I saw the quote after the stream that I done last night. He said the exact same thing.
Oh, I don't want Jamie Carragher stealing my takes, man. What's going on here?
It's not going to be. Yeah, that was a good take, man. But yeah,
let's move on to Reece James. Now I'm going to say something real quickly when it comes to Reece James. I didn't think he had a great game yesterday. Again, I agree, he got isolated. I also blame him partly for the first goal because he just lost the ball too easily, in my opinion, which then led them to then catch us out when we was out of position anyway. It didn't really work for me. I just expect more from Reece James. I'll be honest with you, I do. I don't know. I don't think he done, and I don't really think he helped Fofana enough, in my opinion. Every time, I know it was maybe again what Kazim said, a tactical ploy to maybe I don't know if it was who said it, but someone said he was playing further up the pitch. Yeah, I get that, but he played that role long enough to know that when we ain't got the ball, and Vinicius has got the ball, you double up on him and you get back
to mark him. You've got to.
But if you looked at what Real Madrid done tactically, it was very clever. And I don't know if you saw it at half time. They actually highlighted it, right? Rather than using Vinicius and Benzema to be more central, they made them hang wide on each side. So you had one on the left hanging on the line, and one on the right hanging on the line. So you had all this space sitting in the middle. Yeah. So when we did have the ball with Enzo and we tried to move further up the pitch and we got caught, they just got the ball first time, Valverde, Kroos, Modric, and played that ball quickly over to Vinicius, who then had the chance to run it for Fofana 1-1 every time. The issue there is that obviously when we got the ball, you want Reece James further up. So it's hard to just say, well, actually, it's his fault. So you have to look at it from a tactical aspect. Yeah, he's going to be further forward. But then what Ancelotti done to counter that, to try and nullify Reece James from helping for Fofana, is by making Vinicius hold his run further up the pitch so that when they had won the ball, the first point of ball is to play it over the top down that wing straight to him as quickly as possible. And it worked every time. Every time they kept doing it, it causes a problem. I just wasn't overly impressed with Reece James. I know, Matt, you've got Reece James on this one. I mean, anything you want to say, bro?
I mean, I thought it was absolutely shocking. I mean, I think Vinicius, if you want Vinicius, put him in a spiff, put everyone in a spiff. Vinicius was absolutely outstanding. But this isn't the Reece James we saw last time with the Bernabeu. He has declined, and I think it comes down to that injury where he should have taken the surgery. We everyone was saying the season was done. There's nothing to fight for, so he should have just taken that surgery then. If there was nothing to
on that point you make about the surgery, didn't Reece James have a surgery? Because I keep seeing everyone saying this.
No,
but
did he?
Didn't he have the surgery?
He had the minor one, but he had to go into a massive one, wasn't it? Like a 3-month one he had to get to do.
Yeah,
I thought there was a massive one he had to get to, and I think maybe it's showing, maybe because he's just not improving. As you said, Jim, we expect a lot from Reece James. We call him a world-class player. We expect world-class performances. Not every game, but when it matters, we need to see it happen. And when our team's down, he's normally the one, that individual who still performs. Maybe it's a managerial thing, because even under Potter at the start, he was absolute shocking. So maybe once a new manager comes in and we can see the return of Reece James, and maybe this break and a surgery can help. But I don't know, man. He was absolutely shocking today. And maybe, I don't know, people have been talking about his weight as well recently. I think he is lean, but he is very heavy for his height. I think he's like 180 centimeters and he's like 91 kilos, which is massive, you know, compared to Mount, who's the same size, which is like 74, you know, so maybe he does need to slim down a bit, maybe when it comes to weight, but he's, you know, as a point to lean, he's lean, but I think maybe that weight is a problem because obviously you got to be a bit, you know, lighter weight to kind of run, but I don't know, maybe that's not.
He's still only 23.
Not anything bad to think of, but I don't know. What was that?
He's still only 23. It's absolutely crazy, isn't it? Like, he's still so.
I mean, and that's what we have Malo Gusto coming next season, which is great. I don't know if he's injured or if he's back, whatever is on the thing, but that will give some good competition to James because James is young and he needs to be, you know, have some competition to push him as well. We just got a microwave going.
All right, anyone else?
Let me just say something.
It's Richard's mouth.
Go on.
Who's that?
Go on.
Me. I think first of all, I see people in the chat saying Reece is declining. He's not declining. This is just evidence of a player who's not 100%. He's I agree he might be a little bit overweight, but that's what happens, you know, when you just can't go 100%. So I do think there's a problem there. I wouldn't mind Reece like getting shut down after this Real Madrid tie because I don't see the point in him playing. It's just gonna get worse. Yeah. But it's true. He does normally take the initiative and, you know, try to carry the team forward. And yesterday we just didn't see that. We didn't see that from him yesterday. I don't know where he disappeared to. I mean,
and
Vinicius is cooking him.
Yeah. That leads on to the three in the middle, who on paper, when you look at them, you think to yourself, Jesus, what a free midfield, right? When they're actually all ticking and working. But I'm going to go for Don, and I'm going to give Don N'Golo Kante to start with.
Yeah. I think he definitely helped us the first few minutes of the game. First 15 minutes, we actually started off quite well. And there was a few times when he was picking up the ball from deep, driving with it, and he could have slipped it through, but that final bit of play just wasn't there. But yeah, overall during the game, he just couldn't get hold of the ball. Like every single midfielder that played yesterday just kept treating the ball like a hot potato, man. We wasn't good in possession. So he wasn't bad, but he just wasn't the Kante that we've seen, you know, the past few seasons. It's not the Kante that we saw at Madrid, you know, the season that we ended up winning it. I'm not going to talk about it last season because you know what he did last season.
He did play football since September. I mean,
I know, Kazim, but that's what I'm saying. We can only speak about the performance that we saw yesterday, and yeah, he just didn't look like the old Kante that we know, you know. But the whole team was bad, so I'm not going to pick him out. Am I rating him?
For me,
it wasn't the worst of the three. Definitely not. But yeah, I think he was covering a lot of ground. Andrew, I know what you're saying when you say he was on the right a lot, but that was him just being Kante, trying to help out.
Oh no, I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming him for that. That's what he was forced to do because there was nothing going up front. There was nothing there.
Yeah, so
taking our best central midfielder out, and you're asking him to try and initiate attacks. Are you mad? We've seen it before. Do you remember in the first half, Don, you were speaking about? Do you remember when we broke and Raheem Sterling made a great run on the left-hand side?
Didn't
pick him out. And that's not a fault. Listen, people, Kante should have seen him. But you're asking Kante, who's not an attacking player, to have that self-awareness, right? And he's never had that. And that's the problem. When we have N'Golo Kante trying to initiate attacks, we are not going to succeed. It's just not going to happen. And that was a tactic, wasn't it? That was obviously a tactic.
There was one bit which just summed up his game overall, just the sloppiness in midfield. I'm not sure if you guys remember, he picked up the ball from quite deep and he just ran off the pitch.
Yes.
And I was like, that just sums up the game. He got
put on the floor by Camavinga in the corner because he was so isolated. He tried to turn and he just fell. I think he slipped and Camavinga won the ball. And it was just like, oh man, he's so far up the pitch. He's the furthest player up the pitch. You don't want Kante being your furthest attacker up the pitch.
That's the problem.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I'll give him a 5, man. I'll give him a 5.
That's a good
I don't have
score.
much more to say about Kante. I don't think Kante is one I really want to focus on, but there is one that I thought was even worse. He really annoyed me again yesterday, to be honest. And I give Kazim him as well, but Mateo Kovacic.
Oh, bro. Is he done? Is it time to go?
It's time to go. It's time to go.
I mean, come on. Listen, we spoke about the spine from the goalkeeper, centre back, DM, striker. That's what I've been banging about, guys. Right?
Yeah.
Game won or losing midfielder, and we're playing. Listen, you need to understand football is level. We're playing against Real Madrid. They're not being great this year, by the way, Real Madrid, but they got one of the best midfielder in the world. And if they dominate, bang, the game is over. And he got covered. Why you didn't vote? Why is Zakaria not playing?
Oh, no.
I don't understand. You're playing against Real Madrid. We're not being great in the league. We're not getting performance. Stay compact. You need a defensive-minded guy, right? You got think about it, right? Think about it. You get Kova, he doesn't stay. Enzo is really number 10, he's not 6.
Yeah.
And Kante is box to box ultimately. So it's not proper. It's not. I cannot see a setter there. So get Zakaria instead of Kova and get Enzo.
You know what's funny? He's not a sitter either. What are we talking about here? He's the same.
No, I think Zakaria is a sitter. He's a number 6.
He's not a
Zakaria is
sitter,
number 6.
He's not a sitter.
He is 6, bro. He is by default is 6.
He's you know,
Kazim, you know, himself an 8.
Zakaria is actually a box-to-box midfielder, but at Chelsea we have used him as the sitter. So
as a 6, and he was good, bro. He played against him. He was brilliant, bro.
I get where Kazim's coming from.
Yeah, get him to sit there and get Enzo and Kova to do the dirty work, running everywhere. But we've got 3 runners there. He's no one sitting. I think Kova, bro, he's not been great this year. It's time to go. The answer is yes. He's got to go, bro.
Anyone else want to talk about Kovacic on the back of that?
Yeah, I just think that the majority of the game just passed him by. Like, he never got on the ball and did anything useful with it. Anytime you asked him to be defensively solid, he looked like he evaporated like so many times on the pitch. I was like, where did this guy go? Like, what's going on here? Easy to play around, gave us no intensity in the midfield. But I also think that a lot of what we saw in the midfield yesterday, was tactical again. We weren't looking to engage. We weren't looking to engage them. We were just looking to occupy spaces and like not necessarily be aggressive to win the ball back. And that became more of a problem when we went down 1-0 because we had nobody that was trying to spring traps to win the ball back and get on the counter and whatnot. We were just sitting in our shape and hoping for Real Madrid to make a mistake. And, you know, Kovacic was basically epitomized that for me. He wasn't very good in any aspect of the game. In transition, he was awful. Defensively, he was nowhere to be found. And then when he was in possession, he wasn't really looking to play it into spaces and get us on the ball.
Do we not look at Kovacic as being press resistant? Like yesterday, we were getting pressed across the pitch, right? And the one thing that he's very good at doing is getting the ball and then beating a man and driving into the space, right? Yeah, all right, his final third passing is not the greatest, but there's a couple of times in a game where we give him the ball and I'm like, go, beat Valverde and go. And he looks to Chilwell and he gives it to Chilwell, but then doesn't support him and he's just standing there.
He must have had PTSD from playing at the Bernabeu and just not doing anything. That's why he got shipped out.
That's his strength. So I'm like, you're not doing what you're good at doing. You're not helping us relieve pressure. Enzo can't run out with the ball as good as he can. You know, Kante can, but he's just not. You know, so play. We need you to. You know, when we get impressed, we need you.
That's so concerning. That's so concerning because recently we've had to ask this guy to step up. Right when he was the captain, and he stepped up for a couple games. He was playing really well. And then from Everton, it's just gone downhill again. It's back to the old cover that we saw after the World Cup. So he's just so inconsistent. Like I said a few streams ago, well, actually a few months ago now, a few weeks ago, I said, you know, I think it's time for him now to just have a new challenge. I think he's done now mentally at Chelsea. It's time. We can't carry any more passengers in this team, man. We can't.
Well,
so I think it's time we move on.
So
move on from him.
That then goes on to the one that Enzo Fernandez, who you all know I am very fond of anyway. But at the end of the day, look, I think, you know, I don't think he had a great, I'll say this straight up now because of people probably waiting for me to say it. I don't think he had a great game. I actually thought he grew in the game later in the game. I thought, you know, he was winning balls and then getting free kicks when he was further up the pitch where he could be more effective. Did he get caught a couple times positionally? Yeah. Were we wide open in the middle? Yes. Was there anyone else around him supporting in them moments? Not really. You know, Enzo Fernandez, at the end of the day, even in that game, I felt still showed quality on the ball. Some of his passing over the top that he done into, I think it was Sterling and whoever else, you know, trying to get the ball moving. He tried to do. But the problem is with a player like Enzo Fernandez is that if there's no one moving in and around, and we're going to play this, low block, which it felt like a low block game where no one's making movements and running, and you've got a player on the pitch that has the ability to unlock, but no one's moving around him. He's gonna struggle, because his first mindset a lot of the time is to look forward and play it quickly into people that are going to make runs and use his abilities in doing that. I still thought he'd done okay. I don't think he was the worst of the three. I think Kovacic by far was the worst of the three out of all of them. But at the end of the day, he wasn't the worst player on the pitch for me. Anyone that's
absolutely.
Ashraf in the chat saying he's not worth 100 mil, you're just an idiot, mate. Coming out with stupid comments like that. Yeah, like
you know what though, Jem? And I think that this is part of the reason why the game played out the way it did. Obviously, you pick your poison. It's either you play with 3 attackers or you play with 2. But if you play with 2, which I thought was the right tactic, you need those midfielders to link the play. And not one of our midfielders on the pitch today, other than N'Golo Kante in the very early stages of the game, were able to get forward and link the play and get our attackers on the ball. Like every time our attackers got on the ball, they were 1v1 trying to dribble past the defenders, and we didn't have a lot of success there. But for the most part, we had absolutely no link with the midfield.
I don't think we have anyone like Enzo in our team. And the people that are saying that, all of a sudden after one game, where have you been the last 3-4 games? Like it's just people are just predictable.
I don't even know why you're studying that, man. Just allow that, man. Let them have their moment, man. It's fine.
Yeah, because you're asking a player who's not a DM to play in DM, and you know that, but then you're comparing him to Camavinga and saying, look at Camavinga. And I'm like, but Camavinga's a different player to Enzo. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get people in their comments, that, like, if anyone don't think Enzo's class, they got.
I just want to have my say quickly on Enzo, and I thought he was probably the best of our midfielders, maybe just a bit better than Kante. Again, we did see some of the mistakes in this game which he needs to clean up. Defensively, sort of like giving the ball away in sloppy areas. But again, we saw his passing range, which again was kind of just wasted, because we would get him in positions to spray it wide to Reece James or to Chilwell, but then there was no like second phase of our attack once they got it in wide areas. Like there was no like how did they connect back with the midfielders? Who's going to be the link, like how said, between the midfield and the attack? If you get it to one of the strikers, they're so isolated, and you haven't got, again, none of our strikers are Eden Hazard that they can take on 2 or 3 men and create something from nothing. Again, we'll get onto one player that was meant to be something like that a little bit later, but yeah. So like again, I thought Enzo did show some quality as usual. He's been a good signing for us, and the fact that we've been so dysfunctional as a team and he's still shown what he can bring to us is positive for the future. So I think we just gotta leave it like that. People that want to just judge him off a bad game or bad instances in moments, like you just gotta just allow it, bro. Like
the boy even come out himself in an interview and said, like even said, I'm still adapting, I'm still learning, I'm still young. He's only been a professional footballer for 3 years, and this is the quality he's already shown us. Like, I think we just need to realise that we're not in a good place at the moment. It is.
He can improve so much, but just to add one little thing as well, like. I just hope that we build around him properly, because I've seen another quality player come into this league and struggle because they were misprofiled and misused, and that was Paul Pogba. Like, whether you like him or not, I think he's a top player, and he was used horribly. Again, used in DM. Mourinho said he could be a top centre back. I'm like, Mourinho, what the hell are you talking about, bro? This is one of the most technical players.
He was used on the wing. Don't forget when they used him on the wing as well.
Left mid, bro. Yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you got blood on your hands too. So like, I'm saying with Enzo, like. Again, because he's so well-rounded, he can play a multitude of positions. But his best being
sorry, who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Pogba? You spoke about Pogba.
Yeah, I mentioned that Paul Pogba was a talented.
Yeah, bro. Let me summarize Paul Pogba and Enzo. You need to for Paul Pogba or even Enzo to some extent, you need to just look at the players around him. If the players are not good enough, bro, is long. Yeah, it's long. So I said that. Yeah, and Paul Pogba had he was United, and Enzo. Are the players good enough around him? I'm not sure. And tactically talking about, I mean, Frank Lampard, bro. Listen. When you start the game, you need to see what is the ambition. We went there to do what? What is it? Do you want to achieve the draw? Do you want to go there and nick 1-0?
Look like a draw to me. Look like a draw.
No. I'm saying hypothetically, it wasn't clear plan for the players to know. I mean, Frank Lampard shows too much respect, bro, and that's why we lost.
Yeah,
I think we needed to show a healthy amount of respect and try to hit them on a counter, and that was part of the plan. It just wasn't executed right at all. And obviously, there were little intricacies in terms of how Lampard set us up in midfield, and tried to balance our attacks that just did not give us any platform to sustain attacks and create actual pressure on goals.
So, we're going to move away from the midfield and we're going to talk about the forwards. And I think we should start with this guy. And I am going to stay quiet on this one because I am.
Because you don't like him. And it would be wrong for you to speak on him right now.
No, exactly. Because if I speak, then it's going to be agenda.
I like that you taking that approach, Jim. I like you taking that approach. I'm just going to stay quiet.
Listen, I actually even said at the beginning, I'm not going to sit here and completely gun João Felix. However, I still think what I say stands, and I still think there's parts to his game that really, I just question. I'll be honest with you guys.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. No player is infallible, but I still think that he adds value to this team. That's what we're going to get at.
You know what I expected him to do yesterday, and he didn't do enough of it. And I know there was moments where he got isolated. Then when he did try and do it, I want him to come a bit more deep, and I want him to pick the ball up, and then I want him to do what we say he's very good at doing. He's dribbling out of tight positions and then moving forward with the ball. Right. He was too narrow. He wasn't moving at some points. Yeah, I'm looking at him. I'm like, why are you walking? What are you doing? Come deeper, help, relief. What he's doing, not just him, Sterling as well, but we're talking about him for now. But, you know, like, get more involved. You know, big players, top players, quality class players, you know, they stand out still. Even when things are hard and not working, Eden Hazard would have. You know, to come deep, even if we're playing shit, pick the ball up, and, you know, and try to, like, do something with it. He just disappears too much. Like, you know, in bigger games, and we've seen his record against Real Madrid. He's played them 6 times, 0 assists and 0 goals. All right. So, like, in the bigger games, with your bigger players, and we call him a supposedly big player, I do expect him to be doing a lot more than what I'm seeing on the pitch. And I know sometimes we can say tactically we wasn't set up properly. They're both not, you know, really forwards, but I still expect more. Though that's what I'm going to say. I still expect more from him, you know. And it didn't help Chilwell on the wing because he was so narrow. And every time Chilwell looked forward, there was no one in that space there. So he's having to like look sideways and backwards all the time because there's no one to link up.
This is an example of Jem saying nothing. This is an example.
But you know, at the same time, it's hard for me to just be fully like, you know, whatever. But because I know tactically we didn't get it. You know, I don't think tactically.
No, listen, Jem, bro, listen, Jem, it's spot on. Listen, I tell you something. I like Felix. I rate Felix. But listen, I'm very disappointed with Felix last night. I tell you why in particular. Because when you play on a high level, big game, only you're going to get a chance or two. And he had a chance. He should have taken it. Game was over. But he didn't take it. And that's why I'm very disappointed. Kante played him on. He should have gone there and he scored.
Yeah.
And that's the only chance he had all the game. When you have...
Week out, because...
You're right there, Don.
Whoa. Oh, what you got going on there, bro?
I thought someone shouting back, he disagreeing with him. I mean, it's too many people. My point, when you have a chance, bro, in a big game like that, you got to take it. And I was very disappointed they didn't take it. That's what's the problem.
Yeah, we lack clinical strikers, man. Guys that, you know, you get 1 and 2 chances, they're taking at least one of them. And he's not that. He's certainly not that. I would say his overall game was muted. Like we didn't get a lot from any of our attackers. If you ask me, like both of the attackers were again, it was just tactical for me. Again, we set up 5-3-2, and we didn't have any link in the midfield to get their attackers on the ball. And when they did get on the ball, they were just isolated and muted. Felix to me just did not provide the dynamism in that final third. You wanted to see him at least dribble past every now and then, destabilize the defense, play with a little bit more pace, and he provided none of that. Absolutely none of that. And you know,
he done none of the basics that were asked from him. Remember before the game when we spoke about the lineup before the game, we kind of said Felix as the one to make the ball stick, keep the ball close, keep it tidy, and then Sterling to be the one to run in behind, because we know Sterling's not a technical player, but the least you can give is João Felix. At least he can hold up the ball to an extent and drive at a player and be a threat when it comes to attacking in that aspect, right? But yesterday the ball was just bouncing off of him. There was a point where he had the ball quite deep and he tried to play someone in, and all the midfielders, the Real Madrid midfielders, just sort of ganged up on him. He just put his head down and didn't even try to win the ball back. So, like Kazim said, the best way to describe his performance yesterday was disappointing. You got to step up in games like this.
You had a chance, you have to take it. One chance, you have to take it. Come on.
Yeah,
finish.
I sent the stats. I sent the stats yesterday. He's had 7 appearances now against Real Madrid, but 6 appearances against Real Madrid, 0 goals, 0 assists. Right. So I was thinking, right, okay, now's your time to step up. You're at a different club. Let's see what you can do at the Bernabeu. But he disappointed me yesterday because he wasn't doing the basics that we like from Felix. Do you know what I mean? So
this is why I said Pulisic. It needed to be Pulisic and Felix because Pulisic
I'm not gonna.
is better.
Let me just finish my point, AJ. Sorry, bro. With Felix, I'm not gonna change my opinion on him because I do still want us to sign him. Again, I don't agree with the price tag, but I've seen a lot of people overreacting yesterday. Oh, you want to sign this, you want to sign that. We're not complete right now. We're not complete. But Felix was poor yesterday. He was poor. I've got no excuses for him at all. He was just poor.
Is that true? I thought he was a creator. That's what I got told. But anyway, we move. So we move from.
You guys keep talking about creators like there's only one way to create. It's not about a creator. Doesn't mean that you're making assists all the time.
Wait, catch. Yeah, actually, that's a true point. But listen, like again, like the brother said us on cam, like he missed the chance that he had. But as well as we know that Felix isn't got great output and he's not the most clinical player, like we expect that he's going to be able to bring us some sort of creativity. Again, he's definitely not that. Bernardo Silva offers way more. Like, and I even had a conversation the other day with somebody that like someone like Bernardo Silva, who's the technician for another team, a great team like Man City. You have so many technicians. Look at his work rate. Look at his football IQ. It's on a different planet to somebody like João Felix. And this is somebody that likes João Felix. Again, most of us here admit that we like João Felix as a player. But again, this is when I agreed with Jem in the January that I wasn't really sure on signing him. As a loan, I thought, okay, well, we'll see what he can do on loan. But we've got Nkunku coming in the summer. I mean, Felix, again, it's pretty, it's nice, but really it's just blue balls FC. It's just, it looks nice until we need some end product and nothing comes out. Like, and again, that's what's frustrating about a player like Felix, because a game like this.
Yeah, but you need to understand something like that.
Wait. Like, with him, like, again, I look at even someone like Kovacic as well. Like, players like this, you have a point to prove. Again, this is Chelsea Football Club. And again, these guys have their own narratives coming to the game. They have reasons why they need to perform against Madrid. And they didn't rise to the occasion. They didn't bring anything new or show me anything that says, you know what, you're a Chelsea level player. You're like somebody that I can look at. Because growing up for me, and I'm sure for a lot of you guys here, same age as me, maybe even older, we saw players like Drogba, Lampard, Ballack, guys rise to the occasion in Champions League games against big clubs. And I went into this game hoping, could somebody do that for me today? Could somebody go and do that? And these guys just didn't deliver at all. And
that responsibility for me should have fallen on Sterling, to be honest. He's the senior player in the attacking areas. Like, he's been in these games before. He's played at a high level. He was just horrible the entire game. Like, just gave us no impetus, no cutting edge whatsoever. And like, I want to see, like, when you pay somebody $300K a week to be the difference maker in the final third, and he's fumbling with the ball, can't dribble, doesn't even have, like, let's be real now. Have we seen any of his blazing pace at all this season? Like, I haven't seen.
This is the thing about Sterling. He hasn't got that blazing pace. And to answer your question, Couch, like, I agree that Sterling, in theory, should be the one that has more pressure on him. But this is why I wasn't a big fan of the Sterling signing, because he's never been the main guy of any team. Again,
never.
It was SAS.
He wasn't meant to be the main guy
Sturridge and Suarez. At Man City, it was Aguero and Sane that were the best. He was on par maybe with Sane, but it was Aguero that was the main man.
He had our best chance, didn't he?
He wasn't the main man.
Meant to be the main guy, though.
The last 2 seasons, he hasn't been that guy for City, and he came here. But the thing is, when he came here, he put on the contract, he was meant to be.
He had our best chance yesterday.
He was meant to be prolific. He was meant to be one of our best attackers, maybe our best attacker. But he isn't. I don't think we tactically go into the game, but Jem, wait. Like, I go into the game yesterday, and I look at it, and I feel like it's Felix that's really the one that has more pressure on him to go and like perform and carry our attacks. It's not Sterling. Sterling's on the periphery, and that's all he really is to me. Like, he's somebody that's on the periphery, and he can maybe get us a goal. Just to land this, it's like, again, he's on the periphery for me, and maybe he's there to go and be a goal scorer. But again, this is a 300K player. Like Couch said, this is a guy who's on 300K and has a more like weight behind his name than all of our other attacking players. And he doesn't perform in these games as well. So
this is why I always say, Jem. This is why I always say when we're doing lineups and it's like, oh, let's play Sterling down the middle. I always say Sterling cannot play up front. The guy done it at City and he stunk up there. Every time I watched him play as a 9 or try to play as a 9 for City, he can't do it because he just hasn't got the the technical nous to play the way someone like a Felix or even a Havertz can. I know Havertz is poor at holding up the ball, to be fair, but technically he's better than Raheem Sterling. Let's be real. So I wasn't surprised by. I wasn't surprised with the missed touches yesterday that he was doing, because Sterling's never been a technical player, right? But again, we weren't linking up the midfield with the attack. So when did you see Sterling really getting in the ball, like in behind, the way you'd want it to? So apart from that chance that he had against Courtois when he made that good save, I can't really think of any other chances, really clear chances that Sterling had.
No, you're right. So let me come in for a second, right? I think, bro, I disagree with everything you said about Raheem Sterling, bro. Listen. First of all, Felix,
forward on me. Sorry.
For the guy who was speaking.
Forward. Okay, yeah. All right. Cool.
So I cannot get his name. First of all, let's start with the point of Felix. Is coming in? Listen, all you need to know, if Felix play under Guardiola, is he going to be the same player? I can give you that for free. The answer is no. All of you doubted Grealish, guys, and I said Grealish is the baller. And look at what Grealish doing right now. Okay, Grealish is absolutely baller. I'm not saying this right now. I wanted to sign Grealish over Kai Havertz. So saying Felix is not the player, I disagree. Under top manager, no Simone defensive-minded, no Frank Lampard, no clue whatsoever, no Graham Potter, Felix and Guardiola hypothetically be top player. Let's go back to Raheem Sterling. I disagree with that. What guy said, he's not the main player. He was the main player for England. Yeah, I think he was one of the top scorers for England. He's always scorer for England. Raheem Sterling, when he came in, he's a 3-4 time Premier League winner, 27, 28 years old. Okay. So for you to say he's not that player, he's not that, we don't want to sign, I disagree with that. Raheem Sterling is a very, very good player. But only you need to know the circumstances. He came under Graham Potter. It was Tuchel first. After that, Tuchel got sacked. Graham Potter. We know what's happening with Graham Potter. And now it's Frank Lampard. You need to understand something, guys. Chelsea squad, and I said it before, after spending 600 million, and you all laughed at me.
Nobody laughed at you after saying
no. When I mentioned the 600 million,
we laughed at you when you said.
I said, let him land. Wait, Cash, let him land because I got to respond to this. Let him land.
Yeah, God, 600 million. Their squad is not good enough. I can promise you that, and I'll show you that for free. Challenge for top 4 next year if we keep the same play. Just not good enough, bro.
Yeah.
I hear that. Wait. Let me respond to that.
Go on, forward you go, and I'm going to finish it off because I need to say something real quickly, and then we move.
So, when I said Sterling wasn't a main player at club level, am I not right in that he wasn't the main attacker at level?
It was 2 years ago for City. He scored 22 goals this season, bro. It was.
Yeah, he was the goal scorer. Like I said,
he was the main player for City.
He was a goal scorer. He wasn't like their absolute best attacker, their go-to attacker. Don't get me wrong. He's had good purple patches, and I will mention England in a second. He's had good purple patches for sure.
I disagree again because I disagree because when he scored 22 goals season, bro, go check his record. He was scoring 15 as a winger or midfielder, and that's why you want from your winger or midfielder. He scored 13, 14, 15. He was so consistent. Just go check his record for City, bro.
But to your point, there's a difference between scoring 15, 20 goals, most of which are tap-ins, and then saying you're the main player.
No. Now you tell me the details. It's tapping is not tapping. I told you all you need from your winger, bro. All you need from your winger to score you at least. That's why you just set the standard. You need your winger to score 14 to 15 goals this season, and you need your top striker score you 20 to 25, and that's why you go win the league. For you saying it's not the main guy for City, I disagree with that. I think that's not true.
But the point I'm trying to make is that goals are cool. Goals are a great big part of the game, and if that's your job and you do it well, great, fantastic. But you're still not the main player of the team. You're not the catalyst for your attacks. You're not the guy that everybody looks at. We have to get the ball to.
Who is the main guy for City?
They don't say that.
Who is the main guy for City? City play as a unit, bro. Play as a team.
No, bro. Okay, well, let me land you. You're asking a question. Let me land it. Let me actually answer your question. The main player for Man City during the time that Sterling was there was Kevin De Bruyne. When Aguero was fit and playing, they're like, let's get the ball to Aguero. But Sterling, it wasn't let's get the ball to Sterling. Maybe he can finish our attacks, cool. Maybe he can do a 1-2 team, cool. Yeah, fair enough. When he played for England now, okay, at the Euros, he done great. He was the main man. He was better than Kane for sure, and he done great. And I said when he came in, maybe we can see that Sterling, because that Sterling, I think he even recorded the record amount of dribbles at the Euros. So that element of his game, where he was taking people on, being direct, aggressive, I like that Sterling a lot. But I don't think we were going to see that Sterling here because for the last 2 seasons at City, he hasn't been great. again 2 years ago, Champions League final, he wasn't even in good form going into the final. People were surprised.
All City in Champions League.
And then he
No,
got
bro.
picked.
Let me
And then he
stop
got
you. Let me
picked,
stop you a second.
and
Let me
he
stop
was
you a second.
shocking. But no, let me land this point.
Yeah.
Let me land this point. He got picked for seeing that final, and he got pocketed by Reece James. The year before that,
Okay.
he wasn't having
Okay.
a great season either. And he missed an open goal sitter against Liam, which got them knocked out. So this is something that hasn't been.
Yeah.
But
Is it what's your name? Sorry,
the
forward.
Euros was
What's
an
his
anomaly.
forward?
The Euros in the last 2 years have been an anomaly of good form.
Yeah.
Outside of that, he's not been great. So don't
For-
come here and
for-
say that.
Yeah.
he's
Fair
going
enough.
to be a top player
Forward.
here.
Listen a second.
He was never going to be that top player here under these circumstances with these players around him. He's not going to be that
Right.
top player here. Simple as that.
You're right. You're saying the details now, bro. Listen, you said he's not the main man. It wasn't consistent on all this lot. I just told you, bro. You need to understand something. City is not like other team. They don't rely on one player. Guardiola plays as a unit, right? I can tell you, Kevin De Bruyne, it wasn't playing every game. It was rotating. That's how Guardiola operate. I told you about City, right? City lost when Sterling played for City. He finished 22 goal top scorer, and before that, he was scoring 14, 15, 16 every game. It's consistent. You said he wasn't the main man. He was one of the main men for Manchester City, 110%, and he's the main player for England. For saying show me where he's the main man, I disagree with that, bro. He came to Chelsea, bored Chelsea, managerial, board, players around him, and that's what you're gonna get, my guy. Raheem Sterling is still young.
Yeah.
Look at Jesus, bro. Jesus came in. Now, watching a different environment. Jesus came from City, gone to Arsenal. He got a good manager. He got good players around him, and he's cooking, my guy. And if he's Sterling in the same environment,
I hear that. The last thing that I want to say,
that is the point you're missing, my guy.
The last thing I want to say is that when Sterling came here, I looked at the attack and the players that we have around, and I'm like, Sterling's going to be like Sterling isn't going to thrive here because there isn't the top players around him, and he's not going to be Eden Hazard to carry us an amazing season. Because in Sarri's season here, Eden Hazard didn't have top attackers around him. Like it was similar to how we have attackers here, but Eden Hazard could carry our attack and be the catalyst. And again, I'm not blaming Sterling for not being that guy because he's not that guy. It's not his fault. He's just not that guy. When he came here, I looked at it and I said, you know what? He's not going to be that guy here. So
never.
That is what I was about to. That was where I was about to go. That was when I was after you guys had spoken. That was where I was about to go with Sterling. I think we kind of misprofile the individual or the type of individual is. We think, yeah, he's on a lot of money, and I get that. But at the same time, it's looking at the qualities of the players you bring in. When we brought Raheem Sterling in the summer, I said to everyone, he will not be enough if we do not buy players in and around him.
Yeah, I remember
and make him effective.
I was on the stream with you.
And make him effective. It's not going to work, right? And I said this to people. Now, going back to yesterday's game, why I still put more emphasis on Felix over the Sterling. I'll tell you why. Because out of the two, I expected Felix to be the one that was more deeper. We know he's more comfortable with dropping into the pockets, picking up the ball, and then dribbling forward with the ball and creating.
But you can't do that in a 5-3-2, Jim. But you can't do that in a 5-3-2.
No, let me finish, right? So the midfield, this is where it comes to the midfield, because the midfield needed to obviously break the lines. Obviously, the press came from the Real Madrid midfield to shut our midfield down. If Kovacic would have broke the lines and played in Felix quicker, then I think Felix obviously would have been more effective, fine. But there were still moments in the game yesterday where I feel Felix still could have come a little bit deeper in between the pockets, picked the ball up and maybe turned on it and used his ability. What Raheem Sterling's job was yesterday, and we can talk about Lampard and tactically why it didn't work. What I think Raheem Sterling's job was yesterday, and we said it on the match preview, is to just attack the space behind every time we get the ball and we look forward, right? And we did it earlier on in the game a couple of times, and it was effective and it was working where he was running in behind. And Kante should have played him in, but I agree, he's not that player to look up and release it. I was screaming at the TV, play him in, all right? If it was Sterling on the ball that Felix had when he was through, I think he would have carried it more. I think then he would have found himself in front of goal. And actually, out the two, I'd have been more confident in Sterling putting it in the back net than Felix. I'll be honest with what I'm saying. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't think I think it all falls again down to tactics. I don't think Sterling's a bad player. I disagree with people that are saying that he needs to be sold and he's not good enough. Yeah. Do I expect more from him? Yes. But we do need to have better players in and around him. The way you get the best out of Sterling is feeding him and letting him use, drive into the pockets, but also finding him in the box so that he can arrive on the chances that are created. Because that's when you see Sterling, in my opinion.
Can I just quickly sorry, Jim. Can I just quickly comment on the back of what you're saying about Felix? Yeah. Like when you're playing a 5-3-2 and you're asking your forward to come deep and collect the ball, what does that do to the other forward? It leaves us isolated. Like that was the whole problem with the game for me, that we had two attackers, two forwards, and the midfield didn't do anything to link the game. Like, you're expecting Felix to link the game?
No, what I'm expecting
as
is
one of our
when we do
attackers?
get the ball, I'm expecting Felix to drop deep, get the ball,
But if he drops
take
deep,
a player on, and play the ball over the top from
Bro.
Sterling, who's going to make the run into the space.
You see, this is why I said we have to pick our poison in this game. This is why I said that, because it's either you play a 3-5-2, you absorb pressure and you hope to hit them on the counters and use our midfield to initiate those attacks, or you play a 3-4-3 and you have that number 10 come in as like a auxiliary to link the play between. But that leaves you open in the middle, right? So this is what I'm saying though. Like, you can't expect Felix to drop.
I can, because I'm being told that Felix's best abilities that we've seen is being able to pick the ball up deep and create from deep.
So then we're toothless up top again then.
So then why is he not doing it? That's what I'm saying.
But we're toothless up top then. If you play with, he drops deep, then you see Sterling isolated against 4 defenders.
No, wait a sec. I agree there was in moments where he got outnumbered. There was 3-4, and I don't blame him for that because he was outnumbered, right? But there was moments where I expected him to come a bit deeper when we had the ball wide, pick the ball up, turn, and use his abilities a bit more, moving forward with it, and he didn't.
You want him to dribble the whole pitch.
I expected him to be doing that more than Sterling, because I want Sterling running in behind. He's the only player we've got really that's going to be able to do that.
But they weren't giving us that option. Like I'm saying, you expect him to come deep, dribble through the teams, and then create an opportunity to score. Not that he can't do that. I've seen him do it, but like ultimately,
not in that formation, though. Not in that formation.
His role was to be a forward, an actual forward. And what we needed was the midfield to thrust forward to help us link the attack. They just didn't do it.
That's what I would say. One of the two needs drop deep. I just felt that Felix would have been better to do that in the midfield, drop a little bit deeper into the pockets of midfield where they're struggling to get out anyway because they're getting pressed. So it gives them an option to play a ball into him quickly, and then from that he picks the ball up. He might have had after that. He might have had a Militao or someone on him because there were man markers across the pitch. But then I want to see him get the ball and use his abilities dribbling. We've seen him do it. Just nutmeg people, run around people, make the space open for himself so that he can open up the pitch, which allows us to move forward. That is what we say he can do. So that's what
not in a 3-5-2 with Lampard giving him the tactics, brother. That's not like when people are criticizing these players, and I love to criticize players, I think we need to take a moment and a step back and look at the overall season at hand. People are going at Kepa. People are going at Sterling. People are going at Felix. People are going at Havertz. People are going at Mount, etc., etc., etc. Chelsea Football Club is shit this season. Okay.
Yeah,
it's not. I'm trying to explain to people: stop making judgments about players right now. That is the worst thing you can do currently, based on these two factors. We all agreed the ownership fucked up. That's why they sacked the manager, right? Secondly, these players are so devoid of confidence, are so mentally weak. I can't remember a Chelsea team like this. So if you're going to go ahead at the individual players, please do it with context. Please don't go in that field. And listen, I've come on record here saying Felix is not a priority. We shouldn't sign him in the summer. Yeah, I don't see what the point is slaughtering Felix in a 3-5-2, knowing we put that 3-5-2 out there to absorb the pressure in midfield. Therefore, we don't have an outlet on attack.
That's fine. But we're forgetting one thing, and we keep dodging it. Yeah, because we keep not blaming players because it's all right to keep blaming managers. And I agree that the managers, we can look at the manager and say, tactically, you got things wrong yesterday. I said it. I broke it down and actually said tactics are the problem in all of this. But what I'm saying in between the game, is that I still expected more from the likes of Kovacic, from the likes of Sterling, from the likes of Felix, even in that system, to have at least shown a bit more of the quality that they do possess. Yeah,
Jem, you're right. You're right. You are right. You're right in saying that because yes, the manager lays out the team, but the players still need to go out and perform. The players still need to go out and perform. I said it before the game, guys.
You're right.
I said we need as cliche as this sounds. Yeah, we need at least 8 out of 10. We need at least an 8 out of 10 from every single person. Yep. We didn't even get more than a 5. We didn't even get more than a 5 from a single person on that pitch yesterday, right? So it was just poor all round. It was poor all round. I know OG's listening, and he I don't know where his optimism comes from. He thinks we're going to turn it around at the bridge.
Nah, he's trolling. He's trolling.
He's not. He's actually not. He's not. He's being serious. This is the fourth game that we haven't scored a goal. We ain't seen a goal in a month.
Since a
basically.
penalty. Since
Yeah?
a penalty, don't forget.
Since a penalty against Everton. That's the last time that we saw a goal. We ain't seen a goal in 4 games. I think it's the record since the last time that happened was like 93 or something like that. I saw a stat
Holland
earlier.
has more goals than our club, fam.
So when it comes to yesterday, I'm looking all around the pitch. Where are these goals coming from? So anyone thinking that we're going to turn this around? Yes, I love the club. Yes, I love Chelsea. Yes, I'll continue supporting. Right, but anyone thinking we're going to turn this around, I need your optimism, and let me borrow it, please. I need
true.
it.
You know what, Don? You're so right. Like the table doesn't lie. I fully believe that what you see in the table is what you get. You know, we're not a very good team right now. And the players that we brought in have basically not coalesced. They've not gelled. We haven't seen any sense of like synergy on the pitch. And when you see that and you notice that, you're only seeing individuals playing for themselves and not really seeing an actual style of play. That in and of itself should tell you that this is not the team that we're not a team right now. We don't look like
chemistry. No chemistry whatsoever.
Nothing that resembles chemistry on the pitch. And we're all hoping that we can pull a rabbit out of the hat, fluke a game here and there to get the results and whatnot. It's just not going to happen for us this year. It's just not going to happen. As Kazim said, we spent 600 million on these players, and we have yet to even identify a striker, a person that can put the ball in the back of the net. Like, that is damning. You spent that amount of money, and you still do not have a striker at the club.
That's what happens when you move without a director of football or a board.
You know, and I know that the money spent was twofold, because first of all we had to basically account for the players that we lost. So we brought in Raheem Sterling for Werner, we brought in Koulibaly for Rudiger, and we brought in Fofana for Christensen. And then in the January window, we went and tried to get some more dynamism in the squad, and it hasn't worked out. Let's just be real. It hasn't worked out.
It hasn't worked out for 3 years, Couch. We've not had no chemistry since we signed £200 million worth of player under Lampard.
I would say sorry. We're being disingenuous.
This is the thing, though. Like Couch. As much as these guys haven't gelled, right? They're just right now. They are not in the environment to gel. It is so difficult right now to gel when you've got so many players having to get change in the corridor, and that you've got a peg that's got your name on it. You've got a peg that's got your name on it. You've got to come out. Yeah, you got to see your boys that are, have been there before you. They've got their name. You've got in the change room. You've got your name. You've got your boots. You've got like a
and
big
you got
space.
your bag right under.
You've got your bag, all of that, and then you'll go in next room. You've got a little peg that's got your name on top. Yeah, you're having to get change in there.
It's like a masking tape over there.
Yeah, just some little makeshift peg and that, and then you've got things that are going on, away from the pitch. So right now it's a mess. That's why I can't wait to trim everything down, right, and just go again in the summer. This season is done. We're not going to see no gelling. We're not going to see no chemistry. We might see it in the game. We're not going to.
Wait. This season is done.
Beat Arsenal and lose to City.
What do you expect? What do you expect? What do you expect next season, bro?
What do you mean?
Next season, the minimum that I expect is, first of all, to cut our losses with a lot of these players right now. That's the first thing, right? No, the first thing actually is to get a manager, of course, and we need to get rid of a lot of the dross in the squad. We need to trim down completely. I said to my rival friends over the years, right? Oh, you guys have a big squad. You've got so many players. I said all the time, bro, we've got quantity. We haven't got quality in the squad. I would rather have a squad of 20 players or whatever it is of quality rather than having 30, okay, in case of injuries or whatever. Because if these guys are coming in and they can't do what we expect from them, there's no point of them being there. Right? They're just an extra body there that's collecting a wage for no reason.
Let me say something, Jim. Let me
just finish, cousin. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And then
sorry,
so what we need to do, we need to cut it down. So we're not going to see no chemistry or no gelling whilst we've got such a big bloated squad. It's just not going to happen, because clearly we're not seeing it on the pitch. Because off the pitch, it's overload right now. It's overload. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Listen, bro. I think Chelsea missed a trick there. I'll tell you why. And I highlighted it before. Well, Chelsea got rid of Potter. We all can agree we want to do Potter out. Okay. For Chelsea not go and get managed right now, and I know exactly what you're gonna say, Don, and I disagree with you about. I know what you're gonna say because I heard it, and I disagree with you
about what?
About the owner. We're waiting for the summer. I'm not buying this, but my guy, I'm not buying.
I didn't say anything about the owner.
No. I heard you in a different stream saying maybe they don't fancy getting someone now, maybe waiting to the summer, blah, blah, blah. I disagree with that. So let me come into you now, bro.
No, hold on. Kazim, wait. Say that point again, because you're not being clear right now. What point did I make? What did you
made in a different stream, you made clear probably that the owner didn't go for a proper manager because they're not available now, or maybe they want to come in the summer. We don't have a manager. We don't want to come right now. I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll say Brandon Rodgers.
I agree.
Let me finish my point, guys. Let me finish my point, and you can come back to me. Right? Let me finish my point. We all agree we wanted Graham Potter out. I'm not going to talk for you a lot. I wanted Graham Potter out. Okay, and he's gone out. For the owner, no go right now. Get a manager. I'm telling you, for free. Chelsea will not make top 4 next year. You know why? Because any top manager will come summertime, he's got a job in his hand. Look at this guy over there. What are you doing, bro?
This guy's
Kazim, you got...
I didn't finish my point. It's distracting. He's laughing. It's nothing, man. So the owner, for any top manager coming right in July, he's got a job in his hand, right? I think that was a pre-season right now for top managers to coming in, to identify, to get to know the club, to get to know the players, to identify.
Let me stop you right there. Everything that you're saying right now is what I've said. You do know that. You do know that. Everything that you're saying right now is what I said.
Okay, all right. I take it back. I
wanted a new manager.
So I think Chelsea missed tricked, and that will cost us next season. That's how I see it.
What? Not signing a manager?
Wait. Getting Frank Lampard.
What Kazim's saying? What Kazim's saying is he wanted a manager to come in now, and Kazim, I've been making the same point. I've been making exactly. That's the point, Kazim. What I'm saying is, like Kaush just said, that is the ideal situation. I've been banging on. I wanted a new manager to come in now to prepare for next season, right? And work out who you want to get rid of ASAP. So when it comes to pre-season, you can just get rid of them ASAP, right? In summer, if you bring someone in then, they've still got to work it out, and it's a shorter period.
I agree.
Pre-season, because it's pre-season. So a few people in the group, like Ford, were saying, oh, in the summer, it makes more sense. I said, in the summer, the same job you want them to do then, they're going to have to do now anyway. They're still going to have to do the exact same job. But in the summer, it's a shorter period. So yes, ideally, I would have loved the manager now. But what I did say in the streams that you might have heard is that this is the reason why they brought in Frank Lampard. I don't agree with it, but I understood the logic behind it because of how toxic it's become.
I didn't understand any logic behind it, my guy.
Well, let me
I didn't understand any logic behind it. Bro, there's no any logic behind it, my guy.
For me, they're trying to
like you guys. The only thing that makes logical sense to me is why they haven't gone with a long-term manager at this point is number one, that guy is not available right now or does not want to take on a job. Nagelsmann just got out of a job a couple weeks ago. He's going to jump back into this mess that is Chelsea right now. Anyone in the right mind needs to clear their head and make sure that Chelsea can clean the deck before they come in and deal with this situation right now. You can say Enrique the same. Like, who wants to come into this mess right now at the end of the season? For what reason? Like, what's the benefit for me to come into this mess right now as a manager? What is the benefit for me? I don't see a benefit to come into a squad of 30 players, a disjointed dressing room, a bunch of guys that don't really.
I would couch from what we heard. From what we heard.
I agree with
From what we heard, Couch. One second, Joe. From what we heard, Couch, right? The guy's up for the project. He's available. We're talking about Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique is not my guy, but I would take him definitely over Frank Lampard.
I take him.
Right?
Cousin.
So my point. My point. If Luis Enrique coming right now, it's not pressure because the season is over. He's coming here to build for next year. To identify the player he wants. Identify the players is not good enough. Need to walk out the door. So it was a big, long pre-season, bro.
Cousin, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but what you need to look at is how long they took to sack this guy. That's why we're in this mess.
Thank you. There it goes.
Because they took.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The owner made a mistake. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they took so long. So now they've got themselves in a situation where they don't want to rush the next appointment. Hence why you haven't seen an Enrique walk through or Nagelsmann walk through. Because yes, even though they don't want to rush to make that appointment, Nagelsmann might not want to come in until the summer. Enrique, I think he would have taken a job
Don,
now.
can I piggyback on that really
This is
quick?
his first choice. Wait, sorry, Kelly. Let me just finish my point. So, Cousin, everything that you're saying, I agree with you. But unfortunately, this is where we're at. This is where we're at, bro. Like, if a manager wants to come in the summer and that's their main target, Nagelsmann, for example, there's nothing we can do. And the reason why there's nothing we can do is because where you should have sacked him earlier and taken an opportunity, you didn't do it. Now you've left it so late where, like you've said, there's nothing left now to salvage in the season. And Champions League, realistically, we're never going to win that anyway. So it's because I've left it so late. That's it.
Right, so I'm going to jump in. Because I need to read this super chat. Even if we bring in all the strikers in the world, we still can't score. Our team is cursed by Thomas Tuchel. He's visited India because of us. So that's Samuel's thoughts on that. Big up to you, bro.
We've been having shooting issues long before TT, my guy.
Have we ever also not thought that, and again, this goes back to it all, we already know that a lot of these players ain't going to be here, right? We know that.
Do we?
Maybe the Bulls made the decision to. Well, I would assume so. There's a lot of players that don't want to be here. You can probably tell by their actions in how they're playing. Right. So Ziyech won't be here. I think there's going to be. I do think there's going to be an empty out. I'd be shocked if there wasn't. So is it a case of that the owners have looked at it and gone, well, there's no point in you coming in and playing with taking hold of this squad when some of these people that you're going to take hold of ain't going to be here anyway. We've got 9 games left. You come in the summer, start fresh. We go again. This is what we're doing. The project. You want 1 or 2 players, identify them. These are the ones that are going. This is I don't know if they had that conversation, but these are the potentials that could be going. Let's just it's at the end of the season. We'll get someone in that has had the players before, all right, and just go from there. Because for them, I look at it as the domestic season was done anyway. Let's just not lie about that. It was done. Right. We never it's never going to happen. All right, it was Champions League. I get all that, and we've seen it in the past. But I don't know, guys. I think we were hoping with the whole Champions League thing. In my opinion,
I was praying that a new manager would come in time for Madrid. Like I was just hoping, just not even for the Madrid game, just to sort out next season, from now.
I mean, I tend to agree with what Jem's saying here. Like, even if, and it's not to say that like we aren't going to hire the manager before the end of the season. It could just be a case of this guy comes in and he's observing from the outside looking in. He's not necessarily in the dressing room, like putting together tactics. He's just overseeing what's happening. He's seeing it. And Lampard is basically the guy that's putting the team on the pitch. That could be very easily what happens here. Like, we don't know at this point in time, So, and to be honest, Hall did with when he was appointed at Man United, I think that was a great idea.
Yeah. What they need to do? They need to make that appointment. Just before you come in, Kali. They need to announce that appointment before the season ends, man. We need to have some sort of
Don,
we need to know what's going on.
Don, I don't think it's coming. I don't think it's coming.
I don't know.
No, because I looked at it. I really deeped it. This is what I was trying to say. Had they sacked him during that international break, then I think you get a situation where the ideal situation happens, where we get an Enrique, not Nagelsmann, because if it had happened at that time, Nagelsmann wouldn't even be an option. So let's be clear. But Enrique would have been an option. Some people were saying Flick, all that stuff, whatever your ideal manager is. Point is, had we given that ideal manager more time to consider joining, he might have joined at the end of the season. Right now, we have 8 games left. We just got 2-0 drubbed at the Bernabeu. Could have been more. And now we have to go play Brighton. Yeah? Brighton. So why am I going to bring the new manager in? This is piggybacking off what Couch, Don, and Jem said. Why am I going to bring this new manager into a toxic fan base right now, into a toxic environment with the players, and then into a toxic board setting because the owner has not finished setting up the football people who should be making the decisions? So no, I don't want the new manager to come in right now because I don't think you guys understand how many top managers, and I'm not considering Potter or Lampard in that conversation, are we going to keep running through? How many are we going to keep sacking? Let me put it to you this way, Kassim. So if Enrique joins, right? Let's say he joins right now. We start next season, we get 7th, we lose the FA Cup final. Are we sacking him too? At a certain point in time, like, you got to recognize the rot in your own club. We are rotten right now. We are
if Enrique's ready to go, you wouldn't have him right now? Is that what you're saying?
I'm
No,
saying
I just think he's saying.
like here's what I'm trying to say is like right.
Yeah, but Kelly,
Right
you're
now-
missing the key point. Everything that you're describing, that new manager still has to sort that out in the summer anyway, bro. Those problems aren't gonna go away in the summer. They're not gonna go away in the summer. So
No, but certain things though. Here's the difference though. Like when you're talking about the manager having to sort out, certain players are going regardless. What is going on here?
what was that?
What is going on?
Certain
Now
players.
put that back up. Put that back up. Hold on. What the hell was that?
I don't know. Some
said you're
female
hot, dog.
DNA. There's another
Oh,
female DNA.
someone's
I can't say certain things, but that's Jem.
wait.
Jem completed his transition.
It's Jem.
It ain't my missus. What I'm saying is, it ain't my missus. It ain't my missus. It ain't my missus. The way you go on about it.
Yeah, you get that out there real quick, Jem. Get that out there real quick.
That is
I
amazing.
want to, guys. I want to get yellow busting because I haven't got long left. I was meant to leave 10 minutes ago, but bro, the game yesterday. How you doing? Tell us.
Super Frank, Super Frank, Super Frankie Lampard. Come on, Dan. Tell me what you got, man.
You gonna talk,
Daniel?
I can't talk with this hobo singing, man. Stop singing. What's wrong with this guy, man?
Hey, Kelly, you've been smoking some runts, man. What you on?
This guy's on some
I told you at the game, bro. I'm about to Zaza, bro. This season's dead. What's the
I
point?
didn't get
you
much
got,
on the
man?
game yesterday, but anyway.
You know what it was? You know what? I'll be honest with you.
Go.
I always believe the Champions League, you know, it's about your desire, your individual ability. Because we've seen perfect teams lose every single year, right? We've seen teams without a lot of quality go to finals, go to semifinals, just due to the team chemistry, the passion, or whatever. Certain players just stepping up.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody stepped up in that game. It was disgusting for
Yep.
different reasons, right? But even then, you know what really hurts me? It's like, and this has been our case for the longest time. This is something that Chelsea we're never like this, where we just make errors, right? Where it's like a decent game, nothing's happening, and we just decide, you know what? Here you go. Here's a goal. Like, and that's how we always lose. It's an error, a shot that you should save, a defender letting the runner run past them. This is how we've been losing games, even when we're terrible. Because Real Madrid were not that good.
No,
Right?
I said that. I agree.
A minute after they scored, their keeper saved the exact same chance that ours did. And that's like the difference in Champions League. Right, in 2 minutes in, Felix was 1v1 in. This is the difference in the Champions League. When you get those chances, right, you have to kill those teams. This is how Real Madrid beat us last year. They weren't very good against us last year. It was one or two, like we had 5 or 6 chances to score. We don't score. They have one goal. You know what I mean? So
different.
And same thing. It's like a mirror of last season. Like people want to kill, a lot of players, but it's like, what happened last year when Christensen went against Vinny? What happened in that game?
Get roasted, bro.
It destroyed him. So Fofana in this game too, he got touched. Reece didn't help him, right? They all so I'm just looking like, I don't know. Nothing has really changed for me a year on, in the fundamentals in this team. And people who are expecting us to beat this team, or if Luis Enrique came in, or if this manager came in, you're wasting your time. Like, I agree. Listen, arguing about a manager with 8 games left in the season is pointless. You know what I'm saying? And no manager, it's kind of like the best you can do is he comes in and, he wins the Champions League. Anything else is pointless. Like, what else do you have to gain from this season, right? The worst that can happen is like a Tuchel situation, where you're on the path for several titles and you come in and you lose 2. And that's because you're coming in halfway through anyway. So you might even have bad faith. Like, oh, he lost the title. He lost this. He lost that. There's no point in a manager coming in right now anyway. And all those problems that they have to solve.
Yeah, but Dan, sorry to stop you, Dan. I didn't say that we'll get a top manager now to go win the Champions League, because I actually predicted we're not gonna bust the quarterfinal. I said that in football terms, right? The reason I wanted a top manager now after Graham Potter, to give him more time. Because the between the preseason and the league starting is only July and August. It's not much time, and we've got a lot mess. We've got too many players, right?
Yeah,
so I needed the managers right now to give him more time to identify.
Because then can I just come on the back of that real quick? Sorry, guys. It's quickly on the back of that.
Yeah, that's right.
Number one, we don't have a manager. We don't have a manager anymore. We have head coach, right? The manager doesn't necessarily sort of the roster. We have directors who are basically putting together the team for the head coach. So the importance of having the manager in to sort out the squad, that the existing squad right now, is lessened. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have input. But the need for the manager to come in to clean out the squad is lessened now because we have the directors that are basically picking the squad. That's what's happening, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that,
is that true?
Of course, that's what's true.
Sorry, happy up.
And of course, and then
So what do we need a manager for?
And then the other, we don't need a manager.
Sorry,
we need a head coach.
Kelly made me come on.
Sorry, let me finish, man. Jeez, you just jumped in. You're hard, man. You come in hot, man. Just relax a second, bro.
Yeah, I'm standing up. I'm shadow boxing. Let's go, coach. Nah, go.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, like, the directors now have the ability to decide what the playing squad's going to be. We already know players are leaving. There's no denying that. We know what players are leaving. We know. And we even know who's coming in. We know certain players that are coming in with the likes of Nkuku and the kid at the right back there. Yeah, Gusto. So I don't know if the manager needs to come in and assess this mess right now as much as he needs to just like be ready for the onslaughts that's going to happen in July and whatnot. That's how I see it.
All right. Dan, you got anything else to say, Dan, that you want to go for? I know Declared needs to talk. I need to go, guys.
Just relax, Jem. Let us debrief this game, man. Come on.
This game means the end of our season. Like this game is genuinely the one. Like some people thought there was still a chance. It's happened. The whole fan base is up now. They know.
Who thought that? Who thought it's got chance?
Our season has been over for a while.
No, Declared. You missed it. People were saying we were going to win the champs. Where were you?
Yeah,
they said Frankie Lampard was in town.
Well, that's why I came on, because there was so much hope and energy. They thought Lampard could turn this around in what was it, 2 days. Everyone was so upset from the first game he came in. I couldn't believe it. And you know what? It was the same people that kept telling me, Potter just needs time. We just got to give him time. You know what else as well? I'm disappointed because I want a manager now too, because if you guys don't know, because of the World Cup, we're finishing late. They put the international games as well there. We are behind. We are already behind. We are going to have a very small preseason, right? And whatever manager comes in, we're going to have a bad start. So, Kelly, what you were saying, you didn't want him to come from a toxic environment, at least come in now and start now. It's going to be a toxic environment at the start of the season because you saw the high hopes everyone has. Everyone,
it's going to be toxic.
I'll break it down. Everyone has so much.
It's going to be toxic.
Yeah, look, no one's got. We're going to be hyped up in the summer. We're going to buy some players. Everyone's going to get hyped up. We're going to get the manager. We're going to have high expectations. We're going to start slow. If we have nothing of a preseason, and no manager comes in now to work, right? And he only has a month. If that, right, depending on where they have to fly to, we're doing our preseason at the start of the season.
But we're doing interviews.
People
now.
have to.
Why do we think that we're doing manager interviews in the summer? We're doing that now. This is the process. They've already.
Jen, we should have done it in January. That's what I was going to say. We should have done that in January.
That's not the point. Declared. We are where we are. Declared.
We should have done that. Yeah,
I have to say,
but it's like where we are now. Declared. We're talking about now.
Yeah, I have to say, I agree with all you guys, and you guys all make common sense points. And then I think about, you got these guys are right, but then I think Bowley, and then Bowley's the factor that doesn't agree with common sense sometimes. The guy makes mistakes, yeah, and the guy has a high hit rate of mistakes. Doesn't mean he's going to get them right now. It means it's a 50-50 chance he gets this wrong again. Sarcasm. So don't hold up, this is how it's meant to be and this is how it's happening. The guy came in, real, just like Couch said, came in hot, started talking about all-star legs and started claiming that Salah was there. And he talked a lot, right? He made himself director of football. He announced that he was stepping down, right? This guy just learned the offside rule, and he was just he thought he knew everything about football. He made a Bali said EPL was and European soccer was football. Sorry.
We get it declared.
Where
4-4-3. Come on.
Yeah, the 4-4-3. He wanted Ronaldo. He's too involved.
Yeah, we
Bro,
get
he
it,
said,
no stuff. Let's move on. Come on.
I'm getting bored of
the
this
greatest
now.
hits.
hey, man.
Yo,
No, look, he said
female
we're
cousin
behind by
said
data
you
of 20
want
years.
it.
What I'm telling you, we gotta make this statement, and I'm gonna make sure is that it's the Bowley effect. The Bowley effect throws any of your common sense words right throws a spanner in it, because you guys, this is what they should have been doing. This is what they should have been doing, but then you got the Bowley effect, and it's a 50-50 chance whether they've been looking at managers or they just started when they sacked Potter because they were eager to give him the whole season. And it looks like that.
I don't get it, Declare.
No, because then someone says, "Oh, they got him Lampard because we're waiting for someone in the summer." That is common sense. That makes sense. But maybe it isn't.
They have got an idea, though, haven't they? That's what they're doing.
Yeah, what you're saying is true. How does a sign-in right now change any of that?
Of a manager?
If what you're saying is true, and Bowley is really the main problem,
No, of a tea lady.
What he's doing, and his hit rate is terrible. How is him signing the manager right now give you confidence that hit rate is still not going to be shit? How is him not taking more time to clear up the fuck up that he's had of the last 3 managers? How is it better for him to make the assignment right now?
If that
y'all got me laughing with tears, man.
If they've been looking for a manager this whole time, then I have a bit more confidence, and with some of the people that came in as well, right? But if they need more time, right, that measure is going to end up at the next season, and we're going to have doubts and we're going to have complaints.
Why?
Because
Why?
Hold on.
So the 2 examples. Let's say they didn't look like a manager, and we've got to give them time, right?
Okay.
And then end of the season or during the internationals in the off season, right? We announce a manager, right?
Okay.
Or Lamps gets announced. Who knows? Then he only has a month to work with. There's going to be so many exiting players and new players, and they're not going to gel. And we're going to start the season as if we're doing preseason, and we're going to make judgments, and we're going to come to look. The guy's going to need at least 2-3 months into the season.
An extra 2 weeks in this season doesn't change any of the things that you just said.
Exactly.
Also, Declare what you're saying is facts, but what
I'm
just said
saying
is
any
also
head
facts.
start. It's not actually 2 weeks. It's just a month. What is that? Month and a half? 6 weeks. He'll have.
Yes, but the argument would be with him coming in now.
The idea of the owners wasn't signing Graham Potter to then want to take 2 steps back again. Yeah, you're right. They're going to have to take another 2 steps back, and it's going to take us a little bit more time to maybe find the right manager and make it work this time. The only difference that they're doing what they've done now to what they did back then is that you're right. They made a rash decision and get rid of Tuchel, and without no heads around them making a decision to just throw Graham Potter in, which, all right, they've left a little bit late to make the decision to sack him. It didn't work. But now, if they're going to give time to the decision to find the right person, now with the right people around them, Vivell, Winstanley, Lawrence, people that are now going to be in their ears, heavily involved, guiding them to hopefully try and find the right person. Of course, we're going to. It basically, where we are now, it would have been nice if we'd have done this a year before we're announcing Potter. That's what we were saying, because that's what's happening right now is we're just rewinding back to this moment. And it's true. He's right. I get what he's saying. I get what Declared's saying. But at the end of the day, the decision to make sure that in the future that we make it right with the right person, with the right idea of the module that they want to use, bringing in the right individual players that they want to bring, right profile players for once, rather than like we haven't done the last 3 seasons. Let's just be serious. We haven't done very well. Then get it right. And this is what I'm saying. Just wait. Let's not jump on the gun and start assuming and this, that, and the other. Just wait. They've only been here a year. They've been here a year.
Honestly, Jim, the opinions that we get from the fan base, because we're on these streams almost every day, and I feel like a lot of the opinions are like virgins on prom night, just like mugging themselves before they get to the big dance. It's just like that's the vibe I get. Like, just give it some time, man. You know what I mean? And what would you rather have? What's more important right now? Do we need to have the squad ready at the beginning of the season, or do we have to have the right appointment as a manager? I think that if you're going to weigh the two, you would say having the right manager in charge is more important than being ready at the beginning of next season. At this point in time, we're already behind the 8 ball in that respect. We can't get the manager decision wrong at this point. So taking your time and making sure that you get the right guy in place, where you can't miss, is much more important than hitting the ground running at the beginning of next season.
Yeah, and on that note, guys, I do need to shoot. We'll continue this anyway. We've got match previews.
Smash the likes.
Well, smash the likes before you leave. Leave a comment below as well. And
It's the match
yeah,
preview. We're going to lose. That's the match preview for you.
Who are we playing? I forgot.
Surfer, doesn't matter. Frankie Lampard, Surfer, sing us out,
Brighton.
man. Sing us out.
Brighton.
We got Brighton. Was it Saturday?
Yeah.
Saturday, isn't it? Yeah, 3 o'clock.
Saturday, 3 o'clock. Yeah, I think it is.
All right, well, we'll give you a crap match preview probably about nothing to talk about. Like, it is what it is. But I'm sure we'll find something to talk about because this panel always do. They always find something that we can.
We'll talk about vibes and make everyone feel better.
Someone give me some vibes if they know where they are.
Guys, peace out. Take care. See you again very, very soon. Yeah, take care. What is it today? Thursday. It's Thursday, isn't it? I'll see you tomorrow.
Thursday for me.
See you tomorrow, guys.
See you tomorrow, bro.
See you later.